thank you so much. We are going to start our regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council to be called to order today at 6:34 p.m. Oh.
You're right.
Yes, Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Yes. Hassan Ahmad is absent. Moby Dune.
Here.
Nancy Breyer. Here. Robert Constant.
Here.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell is absent. Hassan Saab.
Here.
And Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have our Honorable Madam Treasurer to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. I'd like to just pick and choose. Most likely to go to Tom next. Now that it's done, next up on the agenda, we have agenda approval.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda for the regular meeting of May 14, 2024 as submitted.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by
Second.
Councilwoman Breyer. Do we have any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. That was Councilman Saab, Councilwoman Breyer. Okay, next up, we have the approval of the minutes. Minutes from the regular meeting of April 23rd, 2024.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of April 23rd, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on the minutes of, approving of the minutes of April 23rd, 2024? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have 4B, minutes of the special meeting of May 7th, 2024.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the special meeting of May 7, 2024 as submitted.
Motion made by Councilman Saab,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. I will ask our honorable body to please engage in the ayes. I know a silence means yes, but it just sounds a little better and shows that we're all engaged, so. All right, thank you. Next up, we have public hearings and comments on agenda items only. This is to be on agenda items only. I'm gonna start off with Zoom first. Madam Clerk, any on Zoom? Go once, twice, third? All right. Next up is going to be going in person. Any comments on agenda items only? It's amazing. Next up is number 6. So we're just going to move on. Number 6. Are you coming up, Council? Okay. Next up is 6, fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims and ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 680 as submitted.
Can I get a second, guys?
Second.
Second by Councilman Wenzel. All right, any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Wenzel. By the way, and before we start,
Okay.
I do not want to spend 4 hours on fund transfers and current claims.
No.
The last 3 meetings that I watched on myself after having a meeting, we spent 20 minutes here. If there's something that you guys don't like, quickly, tell me what it is. Let's keep it moving.
Never mind.
That was pretty quick. I love it. I love the humor. This is good. This is really good energy. I love the energy here today, guys. Go ahead, Councilman.
Chair, there's an item on here that I'm not sure if we can talk about. It's number 52, but
What is number 52, sir?
52 is a, can we talk about it?
I don't know what you're, I'm sorry. Let me get to it. I'm on 41, 42,
It's on
43,
the
44.
agenda, we can.
Yeah.
What is it, sir?
Yeah, we can discuss this.
What's going on?
It's about training for a police officer. And there's situations that occurred where, I don't know how to say it right, but where there was some funding issues for a particular person, and this falls under that category, and I'm not sure that this is something that we can approve. I'm not, against it, but it's if we pass something in the past, a resolution, and now we're approving something to fund this, I don't think we can do it right now. We should look into it further. I mean, I can send emails out to everyone. Unless we can talk about it more, I mean.
Sure, Council Chair.
Hang on one second. We passed what in the past?
Well, this is, I mean,
Honestly, because I really don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
well, we passed a resolution, that's public information, to stop the funding of two directors in the past.
You know, you definitely cannot talk
Okay.
about that because there's a court order that
That's
says
what I'm
you
saying,
have to
okay.
continue to fund them.
Yeah.
You have to continue to, honor their positions. Regardless of how you feel, this is what the court order is today. So, I mean, at least that's the information that I know. There's a stipulation under 4B or something like that, that we're not allowed to speak of any person, of anybody that's a part of that lawsuit, of any of the plaintiffs, or, for that matter, any of the attorneys, or to defund any of those positions.
Well, I have nothing against the persons or the position. It's just a questioning if we can legally fund something that we said we wouldn't fund. I'm gonna be very careful here, but, I mean, does someone else want to speak on it? I mean, you
Yeah.
ever know what I'm talking
Council Chair,
about?
I
Council
have,
Chair,
Hang
Council-
on one second, sir, please. I'm gonna
Council-
have Councilman Saab speak on this.
So it's
Again,
not-
I wanna be brief on this. I do not wanna
This is
say-
nothing against anybody. I requested information from the mayor's office over a month ago on this, and I still have yet to receive it. So regardless, I would just hold off to this until we
What is it
receive the
that you
information.
requested from the mayor's
The
office?
mayor said verbatim on the record that this individual was picked out of hundreds of people in the state to attend this thing, and I asked him to send me that information, and I have yet to receive it. And this was put on the record.
Okay.
So I will support 52, and I also, is that the only item, Councilman?
Yeah, what information did you request? So we know.
So the mayor, when he was sitting up here on public record, stated that this training this individual was picked from hundreds of people from the state, and he was the only person picked. And I said, well, send that information over. I have yet to receive it. Or Council Chair, have you received anything? Or
I've not, I don't even recall him saying that, but if he said that.
it's on the record.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Council Chair, I recall.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
You requested that I write an opinion.
Is your microphone on?
Yes, it is. You asked that I write an opinion on this, because it's coming from forfeiture funds.
Yes,
And I wrote-
that was my concern.
Yeah.
I don't have a concern with it at this point.
Okay.
Because I've read that, but the
You read
councilman
what?
is now stating, that the mayor indicated that the individual that was chosen, our Director Swope, was regarding, being chosen one of 100. I don't know. I mean,
I'll look it up. The mayor's, I'll look it up and see what else is missing. I'll get it to him. It doesn't mean we have to stop this, but it came from the Justice Department, the position. I hope it's still open. Because it's at, I think, Boston University. In any case, I did write an opinion that doesn't come from our general fund. It comes from forfeiture funds and the statute.
yeah, you answered my question on that, sir. Thank you. My question was definitely answered. This is, there's 7 of us, and the councilman is,
This is nothing personal against anybody.
okay.
Is that it, Councilman? Is there
Yeah,
any other items?
that's all I had concern with.
Okay, then, Council Chair, I have a few items too. Number 33,
Hold on, councilman. You gotta let me write some things down.
Raise Outdoor.
Okay, 33.
53, I'm sorry, 51 and 53.
Okay.
And then I have is Ali Deeb, Mr. Deeb? For item 41 for Lead Lion, I see that you sent pictures here of what was damaged, but I hope this is not how it was repaired. Do you have pictures of the repairs that they were done after?
Good evening, Councilman.
Hey.
So the two items on this claim. One is we do have a contract with this company, so actually, I'm not sure why it was presented as a claim, but we do have, so the initial damage. Hello?
Okay. Okay.
The initial damage was a frozen toilet in the sanitary line. So we sent that company, and then it was later discovered that all the pipes, including the drains, were not winterized. So the water was turned off to the facility. However, the water line, the supply line, was quarter-mile away. So there was no drain and no winterization done to the outdoor bathroom. So everything was frozen, including the pipes inside the cinder block. So when we started doing the excavation, all the pipes inside the cinder block had to be removed, frozen, and new pipes were installed. And the new pipes were winterized with insulation, and this time we installed a drain valve on the outdoor. So next year, before it gets cold, we will drain the pipes and put some antifreeze in the toilet so it doesn't happen again. So for all of that, the total was $3,900.
So my question to you is, all I see is repairs here is for the inside. I see nothing outside. And it stays.
Yeah. So he didn't take picture. So the pipe, the toilet was frozen, including the line from the toilet to the outdoor.
So when did they fix this?
Right after the winter, when we turned, I'm gonna say April, maybe early, when they started using the bathroom, and that's when it was discovered that it was frozen.
Where was the sun at?
Hole number 5 at the golf course. So that's the west.
Warren Valley.
Northwest.
I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen it.
Yeah, so the thing, so the supply, the water supply to that one bathroom is actually from the Wayne County Park, quarter-mile away. So there is no water line except for that. So when it froze, when they turned it off, our staff did turn off the water, so that was good, but it didn't drain. They didn't drain it and winterize it. And it's hard to drain if you have no drain valve. So this time, we installed drain valve. We can winterize it properly. Hopefully, this will never happen again.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Council Chair,
Yes, Council.
is that something we have an insurance claim on?
No, because the deductible exceeded $3,000, $3,900 for the total repair. So,
What's the deductible?
10, I believe.
10,000?
So,
Can we get a better insurance company?
we're using them quite a bit. Actually, we are.
Look, I think the gentleman did his job here, Councilman. I'd like to see 41 stay. I wouldn't like to see 41 removed.
But you said, Mr. Deeb, that this was 2 work orders. Where's the other work order?
I didn't say anything about
You
work
said this
orders.
was a 2-part work order that you got up there.
Work orders?
Yeah, you said this was a
No,
part of
this is under an existing contract. We have a copy of the approved, so we have an existing contract
So what
with that
contract do
company.
we have? I'm not aware of, I'm sorry.
Council Chair, something like this, even though we have a contract with them, does it have to go out for bids or council approval?
Well, if we have a contract with them and they're approved to do it, I would think.
I would think, and what happens if it was $1 million, just because it's under contract? Something like this should be.
So, I have a resolution unanimously approved on the date of March 14, 2023, approving that company for this kind of work. And that's what we're using. So this theoretically shouldn't have been on the claims, because it was an existing contract that's already
But we
approved.
still have to pay for it, so it has to be in the claim.
Well,
It still have to be in the claim. But I agree with you. I think,
I'm just saying it's an existing contract, so,
yeah, you're right, but you still have to tell us how much we're paying them regardless.
okay.
But I agree with you. I think they did the work. I know that, I passed by it. I saw some of the photos. I don't know, I know the councilman was probably asking for, the outdoor photos, but look, I think they're sufficient there. I see the valve, see the
No,
replacement
no,
of the
I'm
toilet.
talking about the exterior, this is all interior.
Yeah.
The exterior, if you're ripping out pipe, you're tearing out the grounds.
Council Chair, was there some kind of drain put into it where you could drain the line now, or?
No, we did.
Where's
No,
it
we
at?
did. We have an
Way at the
actual,
beginning, a quarter-mile away, or right at?
no, it was a valve to turn it off, but a drain at the bathroom was never installed. There was never a drain. So you could blow the lines if you want with air, if you wanted to, but I don't know how it happened in the past, but, remember, when we took the golf course, these things were not even operational. We couldn't even find where the supply line were coming from. The one on the west side we did, but this particular one, we had to call the county, and they found it a quarter mile away.
How big's the line?
I'm gonna say 1 incher.
So I
How
mean,
many
the only way to
feet?
do it would be blow it out.
It is below frost line. It's just distance, so you have water, but as it gets to the bathroom is not heated. The pipes go inside the cinder block walls in a non-heated structure. So when they froze inside the,
I understand, but I'm saying,
cinder-
how many feet did they replace outside underground? There's no detail or nothing on here.
Well, you don't need to approve it, sir. Don't need to
I think
approve
he's
it.
just asking a question.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
this
no,
was a
I'm gonna put it-
$3,000 job.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if it's $1. It just
Okay.
needs to be justified. I'm gonna go ahead and ask this one to be hold till, I'm gonna go personally look at it there.
Council Chair, is this gonna solve the problem? I know the shut-off is above the ground, so anything from the shut-off down is still gonna be exposed to the cold,
Correct.
freezing temperatures. I mean, is it gonna be blown out? That's why my concern is this just a temporary fix, or is this a permanent fix where we have a plan to drain the line coming up to it? Because there's probably at least a couple feet of exposed pipe still before the shut-off.
Mr. Dib, you want to answer that? Honestly, I'm not a contractor nor a builder, so I could not answer either question. But the question is, in the winter, that top pipe will still be exposed. Could it potentially freeze and bust? But I think what he said earlier is what they'll do is that they're gonna drain out the water, and so that pipe will not burst.
So we installed a drain valve, meaning that when we shut the water off at the source, we will go in and drain the water in the non-heated part. So the only water remaining will be in the toilet, which is what you can put antifreeze. That's what we do in the cold weather climate. But prior to this, even if you have an exposed pipe, when you drain the water, you're fine.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a drain valve before
That's
at
why
the
I was asking
structure.
before if there was a drain plug, and you
We
said-
installed one.
Yeah.
Under
It's right
this,
there, it's like underground a little bit or something?
no, it's actually right. Yeah, so it's in the back
Below
of the building.
frost line?
It's not below the frost line. So again, the drain valve is draining the structure. Now I have the valve from the source and the pipe that's underneath supplying the line to the bathroom. That one, when you drain it, you're actually it's with a Y, so it will never happen again. Theoretically, it's not going to happen again.
Well, I'm just curious, I kind of understand what's going on, so that water supply line has to be on some kind of a pitch to drain.
Yes.
Okay.
But prior to this, we didn't have a drain valve to actually drain
yeah.
the stuff. So the water remaining inside the cinder block froze in a non-heated structure and popped. So as the repairs were progressing, water was coming out of the cinder block. So we had to actually remove it and replace
Can I
the
just make
pipe.
sure we blow out the line next fall?
Well, we need to do both, blow and put some antifreeze in the toilet and the tank, yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
All right.
look, I know, Councilman, you want this one removed, but clearly the work was done.
I understand, but there's no justification for the work that they're saying is done.
He's saying that the line was bursted and he needed to do
And
it.
I respect that. This is the work inside. But where's the work outside?
So what you're asking is the line gonna get bursted outside, or you don't see pictures like, look,
No, how many feet were replaced? What was replaced? Where was it replaced?
I mean, for 3,900 to say you changed the toilet, you changed the line, you added a drain valve, you got the labor, and you replaced, and you did the cinder block, I mean, I think that's a very reasonable price,
You're
in my opinion.
It's not about reasonable price. It's about the work that's stated that's being done. Is it done or was it done? And that's what you're here for.
Yeah, but that's what
Checks
Mr.
and
Deeb,
balance.
that's what Mr. Deeb is here, he's telling you it's been done.
But the invoice does not state that.
Mr. Deeb, get us a detailed invoice next week. Any other questions?
No.
I have,
Chair?
I'm sorry, I just have one quick question. I know we have 33 written here, Gray's Outdoor, but I see here they've added an additional $1,000, and it looks like there was a late fee.
That's it.
I really hope to God that Gray's Outdoor would really reconsider this $1,000, because, one, you were never chosen through a bid process, which is illegal, and to come back, and if I see Mr. Farina giving that face, but, we have been told by certain things that we can't choose certain people because they don't go through bids because that's illegal. So I don't like the double-edged sword. I want to make sure that, everybody's following by the rules. My thing is, I spoke with Director Watland today precisely on this issue, And he explained to me really what happened. And really, the city would actually be in a much greater liability. You know, I don't want to expose the information that was given to me today, but what I was told was, if more of the information was to be looked into this, the city could potentially be occurring a lot more than just this $10,000. And I asked the council for you guys to each pick up the phone and call Director Watland, because he was pretty adamant, saying, Mo, take my advice on this one. He said, I was out there, I went out, I know what caused it. And, certain things are being said that are not accurate, because the city could be potentially put in a liability. So my thing here is I'm okay with, actually I'm not okay with 33 because, they didn't go out for bids. But I understand the severity and why it happened and what happened. What I will say is, if Gray's Outdoors wants to settle this and remove their late fee and maybe bring it back next week without the late fee, I'd be 100% in support of supporting this, with the support of this council, obviously. And I recommend you guys to all pick up the phone and call Director Watland.
Council Chair,
Yes.
just for the record, at the bottom of their invoice, they have no terms for late fees or anything, so.
Oh, that's even better.
So it's on the bottom of their invoice, that's number one. Number two, we have a Department of Public Works. We have backhoes, we have bobcats, we have dump trucks. That's number one. Number two, we have 2 contracts in the city for tree removal and stump removal. This company that we're talking about here, their contract was expired. Hold on a minute, Council Chair. Their contract was expired, their business license expired, and it was never brought over to council. It's over $1,500. If it was an emergency services, we use our DPW.
So I want you to, I'm telling you,
And I did talk to Rick. I did.
Today?
Yes.
And he told you what the real reason was?
I did. And this has nothing to do with what the reason is. What the problem is here, there's a charter, and the charter needs to be followed.
And Councilman, if you spoke with Rick, and again, I don't want to air out this right here, but if you spoke to Rick and let Rick explain to you really.
I spoke to Rick for 45 minutes.
Okay. So the real cause wasn't what we're discussing. And so the real cause of what really happened was a mistake done by the city.
Yeah, back in the day when the fire department was there.
Yes.
And that's not what we're talking about today, though.
I know what we're discussing. Okay. We're discussing that, this went against the charter by just simply bringing something before us. Now, the work was done. I'm all for not paying this guy, but the work was done. So where do we find common ground here?
So every time something goes out just like that, an emergency, we're going to
No. Okay. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying what I'm saying is, okay, it was done. And if it happens again, now I think this administration understands where we stand. This is not going to happen again. I'm not willing to approve it today because there's still $1,000 late fee, which you're telling me now, and the memo says they don't charge late fees. And why out of nowhere we got a late fee charge after we turned it down the last meeting? I get it. I'm with you.
If you look at their bill,
Council Chair?
Councilman?
We have a contract with tree removal companies. I believe it's for stump removal where they come in with the big blade and they dig down into the ground, pull out these massive stumps, like $250 a stump, I believe it is, maybe something like that. $250 a stump, if you divide that into 10,000, that's 40 stumps, okay? And the stumps in the pictures are kinds that you just grab a backhoe and you pull them out and there's some roots like this long on it. There was no stump removal equipment. And the 50 yards of debris taken away, 50 yards is a lot. That's one of the giant dumpsters you see, like the biggest ones you see.
I agree with you on the 50
I don't see, there's no photos of the dumpster full of debris. I mean, and are we gonna open up a can of worms now? Next, we're gonna have to pay to have this wall rebuilt? I mean, I don't think this is our obligation right here to pay for any of this.
Okay, so we're moving 33, 52, 51, 53, 41. Yes. I think 41 should stay on. I think we did 41. The work was done, Councilman. That's my opinion. I don't want to have to vote no on this all over 41. So I'd like us to leave 41 on there, please, respectfully.
I want to verify the work, sir.
I know, Councilman, but you could do that, and before the minutes are approved next week, you can request to change your vote, right?
No.
Yes, I've done that before.
No.
It has to be done tonight. Any vote can be changed after tonight.
Canfield to switch the voting spot at Riverside. Before approving the minutes, according to Gary, I was able to switch my vote before those minutes were approved.
Right.
Yes, I did it.
It was illegal then.
Yeah, it doesn't make it, it has to be done.
I think before the minutes are approved. Okay, we can keep it removed. You can go, check the work.
Council Chair, I think if we get some photos of the exterior work, I think that's all the councilman is asking, the 100 feet of repaired pipe, and I'm sure the photos were taken, I'm assuming,
Okay,
I'm all for paying this too, but just,
so do you want to amend your motion, Councilman Saab?
No?
You have to amend your motion to remove those claims.
Okay, I amend the motion, I amend,
Do you amend your motion to remove 33, 52, 51, 53, and 41?
yes, as Councilman
52,
Wenzel,
yes.
you're okay with?
52.
Yes.
Also 50, did you say
I
52?
said 52.
Okay,
You second it. You support it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Fund transfers occurring claims. No, there's 40 minutes spent on these. Next up, we have,
Council Chair?
yes, ma'am.
I have a question regarding HydroCorp. I tried reaching DPW and Robert Conrad was
I'm so
unavailable.
sorry. 1 second. What number is HydroCorp?
It's on page 80. I don't know if it's a number in there, but it has to do with labor, and it says it's a recurring charge, and it's over $3,000 monthly. I'd like to know what it's for. It's $3,721.50. It's number 38?
Number 38, HydroCorp, $3,721.50. Did you look up number 37?
It's 38.
38.
I'm sorry, did you look up number 38? Councilman, can you pull up 38? Pull up, let me see.
You got it?
Mr. Conrad on Zoom?
Is Mr. Conrad on Zoom?
It doesn't have any details.
Yeah, there's no details at
This
all.
is labor.
It just says labor and it's recurring.
Let's just remove it then. Can we amend to remove 38 also? I know it's valid.
Before,
What is it?
huh? Okay,
Labor.
can we?
We're at the same meeting.
Yeah, we want to
Do we have to
revisit.
suspend the rules at all? Because I haven't went on to the, I know, and I haven't went on to the next item. Okay, so can we re-vote on that? Okay.
So we gotta add
Amend the
38.
motion?
Councilman Saab, do you amend your motion to
Yes.
also include removing 38?
Yes.
HydroCorp? Councilwoman, is that what you want?
Yes,
You want to remove?
I'd like to at least know what
Second.
it's for.
Can we rescind that first motion?
Yes.
That we voted on, let's rescind.
Can you
that
turn on your mic,
first.
please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rescind the motion that you just voted on, and then
Okay.
add that one.
I'd like to rescind that. You want me to make a vote on that?
Yes, we're gonna motion and we're gonna second, and then you'll vote on it.
Do you want me to make I'm sorry.
To rescind.
A motion to rescind.
Fund transfers and
Fund
current-
transfers and
Yes,
current
we'll
claims.
we'll figure out the motion number once George does the minutes.
Second.
Oh, 189.
Okay. Second.
Okay, so,
Motion, okay. All in favor, can I get a motion? Second. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion rescind.
okay, now you start all over. Well,
Okay,
that's
now we're
done.
gonna go back. Fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims and ACH wire transfers 6 through 1 through 6 through 80 as submitted.
With the removal of.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Wenzel.
Council Chair,
Councilman up for discussion, Councilman Saab.
I'd like to remove, based-
32, 33, 52, 51, 53, 41, and 38.
yes.
You second that, Councilman Wenzel?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Council Chair, before you go take a vote, 33, 38, 41, 51, 52, 53?
Correct.
33,
Not
38,
51.
51, 52, 53. I'm sorry. I
Not
know I'm throwing myself
51.
off because I haven't written up, not in more.
Mine aren't either.
33, 38, 41, 51, 52, 53.
Okay, mine aren't
Okay.
in order either.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. Please engage in your ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Miller Canfield Letter of Engagement, Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, DWSRF.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the City of Dearborn Heights City Council accept the letter of engagement from Miller Canfield Paddock and Stone to serve as bond counsel for the city for a cost not to exceed $37,500 to be paid from General Fund Number 592-536-817-000 as outlined in 8A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab.
And I believe the attorney's here.
Yep, I see him, and I know we've went through this, and you guys approved it. But any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Guys, please, we're all gonna engage on this. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have reports from city official. No, we don't. I think I skipped one, right?
Yep.
Reports from city officials.
Council Chair.
Treasurer Hicks Clayton, policy and procedures. Go ahead. We're at 9A.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the
I don't know what that is either.
expedient policy and procedure provided by the treasurer as outlined in 9A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant?
So we issue a check to whoever, and the check doesn't get cashed. There has to be, we're talking about a lot of money for a city that has a $50 million budget. Just to end up turning all that money over to the state of Michigan. I understand that it's about $1 million.
Is that it?
That's it.
Any other discussion? Councilwoman, Treasurer, Madam Treasurer?
Thank you. So this is a cheating procedure, policy and procedure. It is required, by the way, by Public Act 29 of 1995. I also gave you all the manual for reporting, so we have to do it. The city has traditionally not done so. As far as being $1 million, I don't think that may be accurate, and maybe the comptroller, just so you know, the comptroller and I worked on this, because it includes both of our departments. Both of our departments have to work together, because of course that's part of accounts payable, which is in the comptroller's office. But it's the treasurer's responsibility, along with the comptroller, to sheet those checks that are never redeemed and outstanding, which actually you want to do. You don't want checks floating around. So, you know, I mean, like I said, it's a required action that has to be done annually.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Council Chair, real.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. What actually is unclaimed property?
For example, you know, let's say a check is issued by the city to a business or a vendor, and they don't cash the check. It becomes stale dated. But we have a responsibility, and this is included in this procedure, to try to contact them and see if they want a new check issued or whatever the case may be. But if we don't hear from them, then we need to sheet that with the Michigan Department of Treasury.
Does this refer only to checks?
Or any payment, yeah. I mean, as long as the payment's not redeemed, right?
Okay.
So most likely, it's more likely to be checks. Because, you know, if people lose them, forget about them, whatever the case may be, you know, and they don't ever redeem. And it is our responsibility, by the way, to contact that vendor and say, hey, we've got an outstanding check that hasn't been cashed for $1,000. Do you need it? I mean, you know, what's going on so we can get you your money? And that is the responsibility of municipal government good practices.
Council Chair.
Thank you.
Councilman?
So suppose, for example, a check is issued by error twice, that second check, the first check is cashed, and that second check is never cashed, that money shouldn't escheat to the state. That bill has been paid.
So, Councilman, you're asking about two checks, and we would, and by the way, if accounts payable could, was here, would tell you, we in the treasurer's office verify if a check was cashed first before we issue a second check. That doesn't make sense to be issuing duplicate payments. We're not in the business of doing that, if that's what your question was.
No, that wasn't. In the past, what's happened is checks have been issued, payments have been issued, twice. If that's the case, that second check will not be cashed, not be paid. When you're talking about a $50 million a year budget, that, sometimes happens.
60 million, sir.
So, Councilman, you're asking if a check is issued and there's a duplicate payment, because I think I did answer that question, by the way.
No, I say.
We don't issue a second check.
A check is issued and then a second check is issued in error.
It's a duplicate payment, correct?
And that second check is not cashed.
But is it a duplicate payment was my question
Yes.
for you. So again, with accounts payable, we have records as such, and it should not happen. Even if a vendor comes to us and says, hey, I lost my check, I got this first check, I lost it, we verify that before we ever issue a second check, ever.
You guys void out the old check?
Yep, stop payment. We review all that. We have online banking, we can do that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Moby Dun,
Yes.
Hassan Saab,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
Yes.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
Robert Constant.
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you, council members.
All right, next up we have 9B, Assessor Comer Appraisal Recommendation for MTT 23001869, Carriage Park.
Council Chair.
Yep, Councilwoman
I'll
Breyer.
make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council concur with the recommendation of the Assessor's Office and approve the retention of John R. Widmer Jr., MAI, of Fromm and Widmer, Inc., for completion of valuation work on the current entire tax tribunal case 23-001869, BTP, Carriage Park, LLC versus City of Dearborn Heights, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants, the treasurer to issue payment of the invoice as outlined in 9B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? I actually do have a discussion if you can unmute Mrs. Comer.
She's here.
She's on Zoom.
Yep, she should be up there now.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi, Kimberly. I got a quick question for you. I see here we're choosing John R. Widmer, Jr. and his firm for the completion of the evaluation work on the current entire text. How did we go about choosing them?
Well, we contacted a few different appraisal companies in the area based on recommendations that do the type of tribunal valuation work we were looking for. And so after just kind of reviewing what services they provide for what we need done, it appeared that the firm would be the best to protect our interests in that property valuation.
Now, this firm now, are they outside of our city?
Yes.
We couldn't find anybody in the city?
I did not I wasn't aware of anyone that does the tribunal work within the city that I was looking for. If you know anyone who does tribunal work, then, that I just wasn't aware of anyone who was doing that as far as I know.
That was my only question. Any other discussion?
Yes. So this wasn't put out for bid?
I don't know.
I think it was.
It was?
She should.
I mean, I was requested to go get bids from people.
Okay.
I'm a contractor, so that's what I did. I basically talked to a bunch of other people within the field, got some recommendations on who could handle these types of cases best for us. It is a $1.55 million in contention for that valuation. So I thought, as one of the higher taxpayers valuations, that we should look for someone who could specialize in the kind of work we needed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have Building and Engineering Director Watland, budget amendment.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the Building Department budget amendment to decrease the part-time account number 101-371-307.100 by $11,000 to increase the committee fees account number 101-371-712.000 by $1,000 and overtime account number 101-371-709.000 by $10,000 as outlined in 9C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wanso.
can the director explain, what are we decreasing part-time by 11,000? What does that mean? Are we getting rid of part-time, or are we just gonna switch over to overtime to make up for that? Is Director Wallen on there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, yes.
It's just that we have extra money in that account. That's all.
Extra money in the overtime account?
In the part-time.
In the part-time? Oh, we don't need that then?
Correct. That's why we're putting it into the other ones. Yes.
Okay, so do you anticipate hiring any more part-time?
Maybe in the next budget, yes.
Okay, not this budget.
Not at this time, no.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Council Chair.
Anytime, Councilman. Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have Building and Engineering Director Watland. Man, you're pretty popular today. Truck lease 3 for inspectors.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the lease agreement for 3 Ford F-158 4x4 Super Crew XLTs for a period of 36 months, 10,500 miles per year, with a total down payment of $15,337.30 and a monthly payment of $1,621.18 as designated by Mission Ford, per the Mission Ford quotes. In addition, authorize the mayor, city clerk, and building and engineering director to sign any documents related to the lease of the 3 trucks, along with any modifications as needed. Further, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign for the down payment and future lease payments, and the treasurer to issue payment from account 101-371-816-000 as outlined in 9D.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wanso.
I hope the director's still on there. Are these vehicles under union contract to be provided to these employees?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yes, it is in the Carpenters Union that you have to supply trucks.
Do you anticipate this 3 trucks is all you need, or do you have other vehicles? Is that all we need?
That is all we need at this time, yes.
Okay, in our budget, there's in your department, there was a section where you're gonna increase your staff. By 1 person, would that person need a vehicle?
Yes, and we have that vehicle, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anytime. Any other discussion? I actually have a quick question, Mr. Watland. I see here for any other modifications that are being done, what could potentially we be modifying? Would it be like asking for like a sunroof after we approve this? I hope not.
Well, electric start, cooling seats, all that kind of stuff. No, I don't think there is any modification.
What is it?
I said in case you gotta put like emergency lights.
Okay. By the Vince is like, have dropped his jaw. I thought you were being serious. Okay.
Can't we use police cars?
Make sure nothing from the audience.
Council Chair, I'll take off of what he's saying. What are we using now?
Trucks.
We're using trucks.
Do we have some there already?
Yes, but the lease is up.
Okay.
Yeah, we're renewing our
replacing the
leases.
lease. Okay.
Or we're not renewing leases. I think we purchased them and now we're gonna be auctioning those off and we're going into leases. Is that correct, Director?
No, we only have we have two trucks. And then we have two of the old police cars that go back to the police department.
Okay. Hey, nothing from the audience, please. Any other discussion? Please, hey. Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, please state aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Come on, guys, let's all wake up a little bit. We're actually ripping right through this. I mean, look at this, only 5 more pages to go. All right, they're right here. City Engineer D. Lower Rouge CSO L42 Sewer Separation Project Scope Modification Changes, Order Number 5.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the Lower Rue CSO L42 Sewer Separation Program Scope Modification Contract Change Order Number 5 for $77,312.17 for a new contract total of $12,961,302.70, including previously approved change orders. In addition, authorize the mayor and the comptroller or the clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from account number 592-537-981-005 and PO number 22-535 as outlined in 9E.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Deeb, is this project starting this year or next year? Yeah.
No, he's asking, when are we starting?
No, this is 40, okay, so this is L42.
So that's the last year's
So that
project?
41 is the one that starts in the new budget year. This is 42. We're in the final, it's complete.
Okay.
Substantially completed. We still have some touch-up items.
Punch
but it's
cards, what do you call them?
Punch list.
Punch list, but there are a couple of claims and things that our attorney's helping us with, but it is substantially completed. Construction-wise is done.
Mr.
Restoration.
When are we starting this next one?
So it is out for bid. So we'll see what the numbers. Now, if you recall, the second one is being funded by the new funding plan because we didn't have enough under the old bond, right? So we're doing that with the new funding.
Okay.
41.
I'm gonna tell you.
It's on the street. It's on the street.
Okay.
It's on the street now.
I've seen
for
that I
bid.
had 2 bids already.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot of interest in that one. So hopefully we'll get good numbers. But
All right.
it is on the street.
Council Chair.
Yep, Councilwoman?
I noticed in the backup that the change order balances out all items with the exception of one outstanding item relating to 340 Gully.
Yeah,
What
so
exactly
there are
is
actually a
that?
couple outstanding. We're still in negotiations. One has to do with a damage to a pipeline to a residential property. We're still in negotiation with the gentleman, the homeowner. Basically, our records indicated the sewer line was in the back, so we dug in the front and we hit the sewer line because it was not documented. Even our own records showed it in the back. So
I did
it
talk
caused.
to that gentleman.
Yes, yes, and he is, so we actually, he brought an estimate. We did the repairs, immediate repairs, but now it's actually in the legal department. We're trying to come up with a reasonable solution and determine who's at fault. We're going to make some kind of an arrangement. We're not going to eat the entire cost, the city taxpayers. We're working on an arrangement that we're going to share the cost of the damage.
Mr. Deeb, I want to tell you, is this the one off of Beach Daily and the Avondale work that was done over there in Gully? I'm just going to tell you my take back on this, and you can take it back. But I felt like Wade Trim, not
Vaughn.
Not Vaughn, but there was an additional individual that worked with him that me and you met with. And we went back to a resident's house, which I believe Mr. Ferreno got involved in as well, where he's like, oh no, they threw the seeds on the grass after they damaged the person's grass, and they started saying, well, we're not gonna replace these, sprinkler heads. I mean, I wanna make something clear, regardless if I know somebody or you know somebody or whomever it is. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think the contractors did such a good job at the, understanding people's homes and caring for them. Secondly, I was really, really disappointed with Wade Trim and how much they were to delay things or to say that the contractors weren't at fault, when in reality, they were at fault. So this next project, I want you to emphasize, this is a very close-knit community. Hang on real quick. It's a very close-knit community. At every street that you work on, somebody knows somebody in the city that's gonna reach out to a council member, and then we're gonna hear it back. So I just want you, and look, we can't oversee it all the time. We can't hold, these contractors' hands at the end of the day, but we are expecting them to let them, our expectation is we are the best city in the world. And if you want to work for the best city in the world, you have to be on your best behavior when you work on the best city in the world. I don't want to hear that the contractors were angry and it was hot and 90 degrees, so they started yelling at a resident, because that's unacceptable.
Okay, I agree.
I hope we're not choosing the same company.
No. So what we don't have, we have two things that are working against us. One, we go with a low bidder. Two, normally, we don't have a rating system for our contractors. So this is something that we started doing now. We're rating contractors' performance to be considered for the next projects. So now we're looking at a capital improvement program in the neighborhood of next 3 years, at least $50 to $75 million worth of projects. So we're tracking contractors' performance. So that will be taken into account. About the issue that we face with this particular contractor, his sub, the restoration sub, the specs called for seating, but it didn't specify what kind of seats. So the subcontractor used what we call highway mix. Highway mixes include a lot of wheat, unfortunately. So that is not what we wanted. We're working on our specifications going forward. There will not be seating. We'll try to do sod mostly, and it will be residential grade, not commercial or highway type mixes. So yes, I agree. The contractor wasn't
the
one of
best.
my favorite.
I give him if I had to rate him, I'd give him an F.
Don't we keep a retention back from them?
We do. We still have retention. Actually, we're holding retention on most of our contractors, the percentage. So the way the retention works is 10% of every progress payment. So every time they put a progress payment, we hold 10%, up until 90% of work. At 90% of what we call substantial completion, 90%, that's a standard industry, you release it if you don't have any issues. In our case, we are, and we're holding it for most of contractors that did work last year. For many reasons. One of them is the issue with scaling concrete. On all the contractors, when we have scaling concrete, we're holding the retention, pending the outcome of the MCI and ACI. American Concrete Institute and Michigan Concrete Associations have been diligently working on the solution, trying to figure out what happened, so that, and you notice that I haven't brought a contract to you for concreting the streets this year, because I'm waiting for those specs to be revised. Whatever the solution is, the experts are looking for it. We've done our own testing. And they're doing major testing. I didn't do chemical tests on the composition of the concrete because they're expensive as hell. The MCI and ACI are doing all the testing. So once we determine what the solution or the possible, remedy, we will use that retention money to do it. So we're not going to pay for it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair, one quick question. I had a call last week. There was some work done on a resident, and they had to dig up between the sidewalk and the street, and they had a sprinkler system in there, and the city's not liable to replace that sprinkler system. Any work that they do, any landscaping between the sidewalk and the street,
Was it one of my projects?
it was just a while ago. It was last year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is it one of the three? So we had 5 streets last year. We did 2, and we're starting this year with Sheehan now. Is it one of those projects?
Yeah, is this?
Just give me the address if it is. So the 2 projects we did last year, there was some restoration work that it got cold and we didn't do. So if that's part of it, easy. We still have money.
Is it true, though, that the city's not liable to repair or replace sprinkler
If
systems
it
or
was,
landscape that's between the sidewalk and the street?
No,
if we damage it, we'll do it. We'll fix
have
it.
to- it's reliable
Let me
for
give
that.
you a quick,
Okay.
let me give you a quick, example. If Mr. Deeb, we approve a project on the city to start doing some repairs, and then while they're doing the repairs, they damage something, it's on a homeowner's property.
It's
the
not their
city is held
property, though.
responsible.
It's city property.
Yeah, but if they have a sprinkler system on the city property, because you're still maintaining that grass, you're not gonna say, I'm not gonna water the grass because it belongs to the
Okay,
city.
I just wanted to clarify that.
So
So we
you
are
would, but
liable.
if like.
Well, yes, if it's
Okay.
damaged in one of our projects, we will fix it, yes.
If
Contractor
a
base.
driver's driving and runs it over because they went up on the median,
What about a water main break? You still replace it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks.
okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up is interim comptroller Turner, budget amendment, emergency manager position.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the budget amendment of $25,000 to increase account number 101-305-706-000 for full-time emergency manager salary through June 30th, 2024, as outlined in 9F.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer.
Council Chair.
Before we start a discussion, I would like to call Mr. Turner up here for me for a second. If you got a laptop, that would be great. If not, I am going to ask you some nice questions.
Council
Mr.
Chair?
Turner, I see here we're going up 25,000
Yes, sir.
from what the previous position pay was.
Yes, sir.
From what I recall, the previous position was part-time and I believe closer to 40. So 40 plus the 25 would put you technically at 65. And I know what's happening right now is that because the part-time position, there was still extra funds or whatever they may be. To add it all up, all you need is 25,000.
Yes, sir.
But I don't like the way that this was presented to the council, because this doesn't tell the council that we're going from part-time to full-time and this is what the pay is. We're saying, give us an additional 25,000 to finish off the year. You're not asking to go from part-time to full-time in this, with this motion. But my question to you is, how much money do we have in that line item? And is $25,000 sufficient? And what is that ultimate salary pay?
And so are you asking, Council Chair, if we have enough funds available from February through June? Because that's what we're requesting the amendment for. So in other words, when Bob started the year, we had a salary set up in that line item for part-time.
How much was that salary? Can you tell me it real quick?
I cannot. I know it was I know it was high 40s, but I don't know the exact number.
You can't pull it up, you're the comptroller.
I can, but it might take me about 10 minutes because I'm not logged in.
You want to log in, take a seat, we can come back to this agenda?
Sure.
Actually, I have a few more questions too while I'm still up there,
Okay.
if you don't mind. But this says this is through June 30th, 2024,
Correct.
physical year,
Correct.
right?
But it's not a full year. It's only part year because he didn't start till February.
But there's no breakdown or the actual contract, the actual pay. And going from part-time, like Council Chair said, from part-time to full-time. Justification, it says full-time emergency manager salary through June 30th, 2024, which is not correct.
I'm not sure I understand your
Because it's
question.
not a
if there is
full-time,
one.
we're going from part-time to full-time. And the way this motion is written up is incorrect.
I mean,
So one of the things I really appreciate about Council Chair is when you have something that you want to get a question answered to, you give me the full details of the question. And I think for me, I'm having a hard time with Councilman Saab's question because I'm not quite understanding the full detail of his question.
I think he's given a statement, more of a question.
Yes, I agree.
Yes,
I
he's giving
agree.
you a statement saying that, basically reiterating that, yes, what we requested from the administration and the mayor specifically, and nobody to the position, because that's not what this is about. It's that when I was on council, Councilman Wenzel and Councilman Constant and Councilman Breyer, basically, Councilman Sabi weren't here at the time. What we had supported on the last budget was we were taking the position, this was 2 years ago.
Okay.
The former emergency manager, Lee Gavin, was going to part-time. And so we supported the budget as a part-time budget. We are not saying, give me additional $25,000. We are saying you need to, aside from amending the budget, well, actually, technically, he just needs to amend the budget to go to full-time, correct, Madam Clerk?
I mean, I think when I looked at it, Council Chair, I needed to request an amendment to fund.
He's right.
To fund.
I'm answering my own question with my own, yes.
And I guess that's what I did, but I guess I miscalculated. I don't know. Because that's the amount we need to get through the end of the year.
You know, this current budget here was $0 because it was never a full-time position, so it was zero. But what we're doing is we're not switching it. What we're doing is we're taking what we have remaining left and the additional that we need to cover us until the 30th. So technically, you can't pay somebody the full-time without making a budget amendment.
I respect what you're saying with this, but again, the position was never bought from a full-time, from a part-time to a full-time.
Well, that's what's happening right now. We're amending the budget to cover it. We can't determine if the mayor wants to make somebody full-time or part-time.
This motion, though, is not correct.
Councilman, you're misreading this. This motion is telling you that we are here to amend the budget to cover the remaining of the full-time salary. We are not the ones that are going to tell the administration if the position could be full-time or part-time. That's on the mayor ultimately at the end of the, or when we make this budget approval.
There's no reason for it to make even a motion if you're saying that, because
All you need to do is approve the remaining money to cover you to the 30th.
Okay, but again, it still meets the purpose of it being a part-time job, a part-time position.
It's not a part-time position. He's changing the pay to a fulltime position.
Okay. But where does it say that?
You're amending the budget. All you need is $25,000 to cover the remaining year.
You're missing the point. You really are.
Okay. What else? Explain it to me.
I just did. You're stuck on the number. The last time you were here, you said, Mayor, you gotta bring this to council from part-time to full-time.
No, you gotta amend the budget.
I respect that.
Okay.
But this right here, the way it's amending it, from what?
I mean, he's amending the budget for.
So you're gonna tell me, so your amendment, he's getting paid $25,000 a year?
No. The budget was already set from last year. Last year's budget finishes on June 30th.
Which is part-time.
Okay, which is part-time. He's saying, I still have remaining money. All I need is an additional $25,000 because he's already been paying him full-time without coming before us. I know what you're thinking right now. Your thinking is, what is that figure? How is it that 25,000 is only one remaining? Because there's only 2-3 more months left. In this, not even.
No.
Council Chair? 2 months, right?
2 months. Yes, sir.
This Council Chair?
Yeah.
This 25,000, the way I see it, is retroactive back to February, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's 6 months, we're gonna pay $25,000.
5.
5 months, that's even worse. So in next year's budget, we're gonna have to allocate for over $50,000 extra onto the $50,000 that the part-time position paid.
No,
Why not?
because it was only 75 total.
Well, why is 25,000 for 5 months? That's $5,000 a month extra. And if we're paying them $5,000 a month extra than the part-time, 12 times 5 is $60,000. Yeah, 60,000. So it's an increase of, we're paying them $5,000 extra a month retroactive.
We're saying 5 months, Councilman
5 months.
Wenzel, but it was actually really like 4 months and 2 weeks. Because keep in mind, he didn't start on February 1. He started later in the year. So I mean, I didn't.
I'm gonna hear from the clerk.
Yeah, the fewer the months, the more they're getting. If it was over 10 years, it'd be minute, but now 6 months to 5 months to 4 months, now $5,000 or 4 months, that's $1,250 a month extra.
I don't know if this is gonna clarify or confuse you more. So currently, we're saying that there's zero money in that budget.
No. We're saying
It
there's
says on
part,
the backup.
we're
Current
saying
budget
there's,
is zero.
we're saying
I know.
there's part-time money in that budget.
It's zero
But
for
it's for,
overtime.
Okay, no, on here
I
it
mean, not
says
overtime.
salaries, current budget, zero. On the backup. So originally, at the beginning of last fiscal year, you budgeted 40,000. Correct?
yes.
So how much of that 40,000 is left?
Correct. That's the question, I think. Yes.
And right now, the backup is saying there is zero left.
Well, that's because Bob is still working for us in a capacity. He's not the
Well,
emergency
it's
manager
not clear
anymore.
to council, I believe.
Bob's still the emergency manager?
No, I said he's not the emergency manager, but he's still with the city.
But he doesn't get paid from the emergency management fund or that account. He does communication or,
Saying zero.
Yes.
yeah.
The
that's what I-
backup, though,
Right,
comptroller
what
is
I was
saying the
trying to
current budget
clarify.
is zero.
correct.
So I am
that's not
right,
true.
Madam Clerk.
No, the 25,000 is what we need from February through June. That's why I was asking Councilman Saab what his question was, because I mentioned that the 25,000 was for the
Mr. Turner,
emergency manager
The
specific.
question that the councilman and I think the Madam Clerk are bringing up is, in the backup, it says salary is $0.
That
What we're
means,
saying is, if we budgeted 40 and we spent 30, are you saying there's 10 remaining and we're adding an additional 25? Or are we saying there's 0, and 25 is to cover it, because 25 doesn't cover it?
What I was suggesting is the 25 covered February to June. That's what I said when I stepped up.
I understand that.
Okay.
The individual is now as a full-time position. The council is saying, in order to pay the individual as a full-time position, you have to come before council, before you can start paying this person full-time position, right? Or technically, this individual should still be on a part-time pay until the council amends the budget and approves the new full-time pay. That is it. So I think what the councilman and the clerk is saying is it's showing $0. So that's why I asked you to bring up your computer. So if you need 10 minutes, go through it, figure out how much money we have. I mean, or we can do quick math. If he left in February,
He started in February?
so he started in February, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, that's 8 months. So you go 40,000 divided by 12, that's 3,330, no, that's not how I'm gonna break it down. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get it for you guys, hold up. 40,000 divided by 12, okay, so that is 33, okay. I'm just doing some quick math. 40,000 divided by 8, 5,000. Hold on. Times 4. There should be $13,332 remaining in that account.
Council Chair, out of the original budget for the part-time emergency manager, it was the gentleman, I won't name his name, because we don't need to, but is he still getting paid that same amount for a new position? Is that why we have zero amount in there? We're paying him with what he was getting before?
He was not here before.
No, the old guy.
No, the new guy's salary is different than the old guy.
Yeah, I'm saying, okay, so the old guy, is he still getting paid his?
Yes.
The same amount that was budgeted? So that leaves us with nothing left.
Thank you. And then the 25 covers him, and he said he started February 29th
February 29th?
through June 30. So we're
much is that a
looking at
month?
an apple and an orange.
How much is that a month, though, we're paying him then?
I think it's not clear.
We're paying him,
I think it's
yeah.
not clear.
So yeah.
I can fix that. But if you,
So that's like $5,000 a month, and then 5,000 times 12 is $60,000. That's his pay, right? 4 or 5 or 6.
thank you.
Yeah.
4,
4 months?
Yes,
so
it
that's
is.
1,200.
because he started February 29th.
$1,250
And that's going to be an estimate, because if a month has 3 payrolls in it, it's going to be a little different than if one does not.
Yeah. We're still paying Bob, and we're still paying the old part-time emergency manager the same amount all the way through the end of this budget. So that money's not in there anymore for the new guy.
How are we paying the new guy?
He's right here. He wants his money right now for this.
There you go. There you go.
So you're still maintaining the part-time line item?
Because he's doing other things, and he's under a different
But it's still going to
department.
come out of emergency management money?
It was my understanding, correct.
Okay.
But it's not
I'm just
going to be
trying
money, emergency management. I'm going to have to do a budget amendment for that at some point as well.
So this
I just don't have a final
25,000
answer for that one.
My other question is, the money that we're paying out, what account, where's it coming from? Is it coming from the emergency management budget?
For whom?
Either one.
Mr. Turner, see, here we go, you ready?
Okay.
We, in last year's budget, approved for a part-time position. One person.
Correct.
Halfway through the year, in February.
29.
A new position was hired in that same position. We've still been paying the former emergency manager through that same budget. That individual is still getting paid through that budget. This new individual came to the city and is also getting paid. What budget? What line item?
My budget amendment, the 25,000. That is for the new person.
No.
Full-time for the new person.
You've been paying him before bringing it to us.
Correct. And we knew that from previous meetings, which is why we brought the amendment in, because you had requested that we do it, so I'm bringing it in today.
But where's that money coming from is the question.
I
the
understand
past
that.
4 months-
It's going to have to come from the general fund balance, correct? It's not an offset from something else, because that's what you're asking.
But
That's really what you're asking, correct? You're asking if I'm taking it out of one line and putting it in another line, and the answer is no.
no.
My question is, the individual started February 1st, February 15th, we'll call it, 14th. We'll call it
29th.
February 29th, he started, okay? Since February 29th, he's been getting paid.
Since February 29th, he's been getting paid. We have not done a budget amendment, and we are now May 14th, my sister Rhonda's birthday.
Happy birthday, Sister
Thank you.
Rhonda.
So what I'm asking, in March and in April and halfway through May, we've been paying this individual, hang on, before we amended the budget. So where are we getting that money? Because we're not taking it from the part-time position, because we're still paying Mr. Ancrock, who is still hired through the city. I can say his name. He's probably not the emergency manager, part-time emergency manager anymore. Or maybe he is, I don't know. But clearly you're telling me he's still getting paid, so we're still paying him out of that. So his money's there. Now we have this new position that's full-time, that's never had a budget amendment. Where are we getting the money from?
From the fund balance. I'm not standing before you suggesting that the timing of this was correct. I'm just saying that it was brought to my attention. I did the amendment.
So what we need is, this is what we need from you. So obviously, we want to make sure we do it right. This is not
Right.
This is not a retaliation. I want to make that clear. It's not a retaliation. This isn't angry. This isn't.
Council Chair, I still feel like you're mad at me about the paper. I'm just saying.
Really, what I want you to know, Mr. Turner, is how much money is needed for the remaining year, okay? And I want a line item for that. And then I would like Mr. Ancrock to be moved into the department that he's now working in, which is
Communications.
communications.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
We got to move that, and then we need to say, this is how much money is remaining. He gets X amount of dollars throughout the year. This is how much we need to add up so that to finish off the year. That's it.
Okay. And so I'm going to repeat what you just said, because I have a little bit of a confusion about the emergency manager.
I'll have the clerk
because,
email it to you. How about that?
Okay.
You understood me, right?
Well, I asked the question because my amendment tells you what I need for the end of the year for the emergency manager. It already does. So I don't know what else you want me to provide you. Am I supposed to send you a bi-weekly assessment of what his earnings are? Is it?
Mr. Turner, all we're asked, you understand me?
So he started February 29th. We need funding through. Oh, you just want that in right? You want that on the amendment?
No, Council Chair, please.
In the resolution.
Because that's where my confusion is.
Go ahead. I'm so confused.
Council Chair, Mr. Turner.
Guys, nothing from the audience, please. Turn on your mic, please.
The emergency management position has one employee. One. Right now, we're paying 2. And the money is now coming from the emergency management fund. Or it's coming from the fund balance. There's no
General fund,
fund.
yes.
I'm sorry. There's no activity on the emergency manager's position. So you're going to tell me that the $40,000 was last year, if somebody gets moved out of that position, right, whatever department they're in, they stick to that position. So is that individual right now still getting paid by both departments?
Are you talking about Bob?
Individuals getting.
Because the old emergency manager is being paid by a different department, communications.
Okay.
I have to do a budget amendment for that piece of that, so that,
Until we do that amendment, he's still getting paid from this fund, from what you budgeted last year for.
Guys,
Aircraft's getting paid.
I got the answer.
You got it with you?
I got the answer. Hang on. I have last year's budget right here. Don't ask me why I have it, but I do.
What do you want to know? I've got it pulled up on the budget here.
You got it from last year?
We're gonna get this right, Mr. Turner. This is not your fault. This is nobody's fault. I
No,
think it's just a miscommunication.
Council Chair, can I ask one quick question here? Does this $25,000 include benefits?
that's his salary.
I mean, yeah, it's his salary, so what about the benefits for those months? His healthcare, medical,
I can't speak to that, Councilman
So it's gonna be
Wenzel.
more than that.
I can't tell you whether he has health benefits or what his health benefits cost is, but it's, the 25,000 will cover him
just
through
for his
June.
salary?
It will cover him through June with FICA.
Are we gonna get another budget amendment to cover the fringe benefits?
We will probably get a budget amendment to cover, I'm sorry.
Sorry. $42,000 is what we set the budget to be in 2022, I'm sorry, 2023, 2024 budget.
Plus the
Part-time was
5%.
$42,000. The individual made $42,000, he's still taking that $42,000. To tell me that it's only $5,000 to cover a $75,000 salary for 5 months, $25,000 is still too less.
It's only 4 months.
Okay, 75,000 divided by 4.
Council Chair, it's budgeted for next year for $75,000.
Yep, that's what he's doing. He's starting with the new budget.
25,000. It is. He's correct. Correct.
Can I get a hell yeah?
It's not correct. It's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Guys, the man just did the math.
Okay.
Numbers don't lie.
I'm voting it, okay. Your math is way off.
Us.
Understanding, Council
All right,
Chair, that I do
wanna
need to
do
do
it.
the budget amendment for the prior
Us.
Okay.
75,000
manager moving
divided by
departments.
12, it's 6,250. 6,250 times 4 is $25,000. That's what they're amending the budget.
Okay. Plus medical, plus everything else that comes with it.
The only other thing that we have at this point that I'm able to speak to is
You're
FICA.
right. What?
FICA. It's a separate line item,
What are
though.
we-
It's
what are we
not the
paying him
salary,
now?
it's a separate
What's
line.
his
And I think we're
salary,
okay.
yearly salary?
Guys, nothing from the audience, please.
Council Chair,
Council members, go through the chair, please.
Council Chair.
Look, guys, the
What's it-
beauty about this thing is, everybody, this is a democracy, everybody can vote however they feel they want to vote, okay? If you don't like it, we'll go, nothing from the audience, please. Please, nothing from the audience. Thank you. So I'm just gonna take this to a vote. We're going back and forth on, if we're paying his medical, if we're paying this, if paying that. This is personnel information. I just did some simple math. 75 divided by 12, 6,250 times 4. Guys, it's $25,000. Now, whatever this budget, the way it's dressed, it's obviously dressed incorrectly enough for Councilman Saab to say, hey, this is something I don't like the way it's being presented, and he's entitled to that. Councilman Wenzel feels the same way. They're entitled. I do too. I think this is actually a terrible thing. It was terribly done.
Thank you.
But numbers don't lie, and the numbers are there, so I'm going to take this to a vote. We're not going to keep staying on this discussion. So, motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
And clerk, please take roll call.
75,000 divided by 12 is 6,250.
250 times 4.
It's per month. Times 4, okay, times 4. Times less than 4, right?
4.
Let's see. March, April, May, and June, 4 months.
But there's no activity under salaries. There's nothing that shows this position. It's nothing personal against the person that's holding this position full time. It's just doing it, so it's what's right. And the way
I
it's
agree.
presented it's not right. And to vote on it and say that it's right is only gonna complicate his position down the road.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're
Take a roll
we're
call,
gonna
it's
take it
fine.
take it to a roll call, please.
Moby Dun,
Yes.
Hassan Saab,
No.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Motion fails.
Motion carries 3-2.
Does it carry with 3-2? I thought you need 4.
No, majority.
Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Councilman.
You're welcome. Next up on the agenda, we have IT Director Cooper, Purchase and Payment, Justice Center, UPSS.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council authorize the purchase and payment of 3 APC Smart UPS 1500, 2 APC Backups Pro 1000 volts per V, and 1 APC Backup 650 UPS from CDWG for use at the Justice Center. In addition, authorized payment of $1,235.65 from account 101-258-932-000, in payment of $1,624.20 from account 265-000-636-200 as outlined in 9G.
Guys, please, nothing from the audience, please. Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this? Director, want us to give us a quick breakdown of what this is? I saw some of the images. I even liked how you, when you put it in the backup, I was able to click on the highlighted blue. It took me to the page. I said, oh, this guy must know IT.
Just a couple things. These are UPSs to protect the switches at the Justice Center for the police and the courts. For example, when we, change over from the generator to, or if we ever have to change over the generator, we have a momentary loss of power in certain locations, and this is stuff that helps protect the equipment that we've already invested into.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Just stay up there because I think you have quite a few.
Just one more.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you.
Next up, we have IT Director Cooper, purchase and payment of rugged tables.
Rugged tablets.
Tablets, I'm so sorry. For Department of Public Works.
Council
Chair.
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council authorize the purchase and payment of 12 Samsung Active 4 Pro tablets from SHI for use by the Department of Public Works field crews for a total cost of $8,568 to be paid from account number 101-258-981-000 is outlined in 9H.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Saab. Madam Clerk, I can't wait to see the minutes of this. It's like bouncing back and forth. Saab, Constant, Saab, Constant, Saab. So it's real nice. If you look at my notes, it's just Councilman. Yes. Any discussion on this? Great. Go ahead, give us a quick synopsis of what we're doing here.
Sure. These are rugged tablets for highway, water, and our building and maintenance. As we're moving to be more automated and electronic for them, this will allow them to be able to take their devices throughout the city and outside of our city buildings to be able to work on their tickets as they're getting them, and specifically the GIS system that we want to try to get developed.
Are you doing anything with our building department as well, so they can start doing this when they're doing CFOs and we're digitalizing it? I know it's something that
They use their field inspection, with it, that has it all in there, and literally was with BSNA today with a meeting with Carrie on some more things.
Are we working on that?
We are very much working on it.
Every meeting, we're gonna bring it up to you.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Do we have a timestamp on that?
We're waiting for some of the proposal and documentation from BSNA themselves. We just had the meeting today at 1:00.
Wow, okay. So we're about 3 weeks behind.
So
3 weeks behind. Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Anytime, sir. Parks and Recreation Director Sauer, for youth sports programs.
Allotment.
All right. Councilwoman Breyer?
I will do it.
Thank you.
I'll make a recommended motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the disbursement of the Dearborn Heights Youth Organization allotments as follows. Dearborn Heights Panthers, $5,400. Dearborn Heights Raiders, $1,950. And District 7 basketball, $2,970. In addition, authorize these funds to be taken from the 23-24 Parks and Recreation Budget Account Number 691-887 is outlined in 9I.
Second. Support.
Now everybody jumping up on board. Was that Councilman Wenzel? Did you say you support that?
Councilman Wenzel.
All right. Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have Parks and Recreation Director Sauer, Summerfest 2024 contract with Antonio.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the contract between the city and Antonio's of Dearborn Heights, Inc. for the 2024 Dearborn Heights Summerfest and authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the contract on behalf of the city as outlined in 9J.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Just a quick hats off to Antonio's and to Director Sauer and to all those that take part. I know the Department of Public Works helps out on this. I know our ordinance department, our fire department, our police department, everybody goes above and beyond with this Summerfest, and it's definitely a staple in the community. So Director Sauer, thank you. And thank you to all those who helped put this together. And our building and maintenance department as well. Mr. Blackburn, I know you also have a lot to do with this, so I want to thank you on that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, man. Everyone seems tired today. Whispering. Next up, we have 9K Parks and Recreation Director Sauer, Summerfest 2024 liquor license application.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'll make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approves a liquor license application to sell beer and wine at the 2024 Summerfest and 2024 Concert Series. Authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the application to be submitted to the Liquor Control Commission as outlined in 9K.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, second by Councilman Wenzel. Any discussion on this? Okay. I also just want to say a few things. During the festival, I think our police and fire do a great job. Whenever there's like a missing child, there's a few tents, and these children can go into the tent and say, hey, like I've lost my parent, or the parent can come into the tent and say, I've lost my child. And it's crazy because nobody has went missing at the festival for no more than 20, 30 minutes. So thank you to our police and fire, and thank you for setting up that tent. Thank you for Mrs. Sauer for thinking of that. And to those who are going to attend the Summerfest, please watch your children and don't let them go missing.
Or the parents.
Actually, I got a question for Director Swope. Can we get or apply for, honestly, a command center or like one of those command trailers and special events? Do we have one in the city? Like emergency command center or post?
Yeah, so the police department, we don't have a emergency command center. We could get one from, Western Wayne or, another agency. But I believe the fire department does have one. So a lot of cities, what they do is either the police department has one or the fire department has one. So if the fire department does have one, we could set that up for sure.
Yeah.
You know how much one of those costs, any chance?
$250. So, we can always, too, look at like...
Splitting it with the fire department.
Yeah, we could. We could look at, vehicles that are used that a lot of times they make buses into command centers, that type of stuff.
I think that's what Homeland Security does.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. The ayes have it. We're moving right past it. Next up, we have Police Operation Director Swope, School Resource Officer, interlocal
Cooperation.
I don't know, what is wrong with me? Cooperator agreement.
Council Chair.
Yes, Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City
Need my
Council approve the interlocal cooperation agreement for the assignment of the school resource officers between the City of Dearborn Heights, Crestwood School District, Westwood School District, Dearborn Heights District 7, and Star International Academy. In addition, authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the agreements on behalf of the city as outlined in 9B.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Constant. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Saab?
Director Swope, so the schools would be paying for these resource officers, correct? Are we sharing costs, or are they paying, or?
Yeah, there's a cost-sharing agreement here. So basically, the schools will pay 50% of all officers' salary and fringe benefits, and also any overtime. And then we'll take the other 50%.
And so these officers, after school activities out in the summer, will work at the police department, just as regular officers, I'm guessing, right, or?
Yeah, so they'll work at the police department. This year, we're starting a youth academy. So they're preparing that, and they'll also work with the schools still on any type of projects or in-house type thing that they have going on.
Okay, so this won't like lay off the officers in the summertime when there's schools out or anything?
No, so basically when, during the summertime, that's when most of our school resource officers take their time off because they don't take a lot of time off during the school year.
Okay, all right.
I got to tell you, our school resource officer and DARE teacher was Ed Garcia, Officer Ed. He was also my football coach. He is the absolute best. He actually watches all these meetings and calls me on regular. Hey, you said this or you said this. So Officer Ed or Mr. Garcia, if you're watching this, thank you. And I hope that the children in Dearborn Heights are going to be able to get the same experience that many of us did with Ed Garcia. I'm sure we have an amazing officers who are going to give the experience. I know, get the individual's name at D7, blonde hair.
Yeah, Officer Bearden.
Bearden, great guy.
He is so awesome. The kids love him. Parents have called me in regards to him. So, I love that we're doing this and that we're taking on this initiative. Director Swope, thank you for this and bringing this forward. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have City Engineer Dib, Notice of Intent Resolution 2024 Capital Improvement Bond Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, DWSRF.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the notice of intent resolution for the 2024 capital improvement bonds for the drinking water state revolving fund project, DWSRF, as outlined in 11A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab. Back to Councilman Constant. I'm sorry, I actually did the wrong one. Constant, any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Let's do that again. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. See, I'm getting some laughs out in the audience today. This is a good meeting. It's a really good meeting. Nobody's really talking. I feel like I'm just sitting up here. This is a great meeting. Next up, we have 11B, Mayor Bazzi, resolution supporting the implementation of the GEMT program in Michigan.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the resolution supporting the implementation of the ground emergency medical transportation program in Michigan as outlined in 11B.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. I gotta change that. I wrote Constant. Any discussion on this? All right, hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have business license renewal.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the business license renewals for Happy Wealthy 168 LLC at 5680 North Telegraph, Red Lobster Hospitality LLC at 6850 Telegraph, Applebee's number 8085 at 2652 Ford Road, Uncle Ray's Place at 24502 Warren, and the 342 Bar and Grill at 3932 Pelham is outlined in 13A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion? I do have a couple of things real quick. If nobody's really saying much, I will say it. I feel like we spent all of our energy on fund transfers and current claims. But you know, a lot of these businesses are in here in the city of Dearborn Heights. Support them. Go out, enjoy their food, go to Red Lobster, you know, go out to the bar and grill, wherever it is, guys. Try to spend your money back to these small businesses in the city of Dearborn Heights that are paying their taxes, these brick and mortars, because, you know, they need you guys in order for them to stay operated and open. And if once you start seeing big franchise companies or even small businesses starting to shut down or go away, and it's like, that's what makes the economy a lot harder in the city of Dearborn Heights. So if you're gonna spend your money, keep spending it in Dearborn Heights. That's my discussion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Next up, we have temporary food truck cart license applications. Councilman, woman, anybody?
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the temporary food truck cart license application for Hanky Panky Donuts and Blazing Hot Wings and renewal application for Burgerati and chicken cheese as outlined in 13B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Constant. I gotta tell you guys something.
Lennon McCartney.
Hanky Pank Donuts.
It's Panky, not Pank.
Panky.
Hanky Pank,
Panky.
whatever it is absolutely amazing. If you ever remember going to Fairlane and having like those little small donuts, the ones that are fried that they were watching flip constantly and they're like seasoned so right, imagine like with a touch of like hot Cheetos on these. I mean, it is out of this world. Really, it's not hot Cheetos. It's more of like some type of maple syrup or some cinnamon or Fruity Pebbles. They're on Telegraph by this Italian restaurant, right next door to the car wash, and then, you know, Burgerati. That's another
Council
great
Chair, best donuts in the area are Donutville on Ford Road, hands down. That's it.
Well, they're not in the area. They're in
Doesn't
Dearborn, but I
matter.
agree. They're the mother, or God, well, maybe I don't know if she's still around, but the mother of them lives on Midway, and actually she may still be around.
Council Chair, I do have a few questions though.
Yes.
I know Planning Commission had, they had a food truck ordinance in front of them last week. And it's supposed to come in front of council. And I remember the owner of Carreras came in a while back complaining that one of these food trucks was blocking their entrance and sign. Burgerati.
Yep. They fixed it, I believe. They had to back it up.
And-
Big Ham says it's the best burger in the city.
My thing is that with these food trucks, are these just renewing
Yeah.
or are these new?
Well, I think Hanky Panks is new. Yeah, because I don't remember Hanky Pank.
Yeah, just we're saturating so much food trucks in the city where we're hurting brick and mortar stores. Honestly, I'd really like to table this until we get the resolution, until we get that ordinance in front of us. See what we're gonna do, because it's honestly, you just said support local businesses. We're actually hurting businesses with this. We really are. There's so many of them now throughout the city.
So I gotta tell you this, in Dearborn Heights right now, I think we've approved 15, 20 since we allowed this resolution. And I can tell you 7 or 8 have already closed down. So you're not really seeing, these things are not successful in Dearborn Heights. They're just not. Burgerati, I think this is the second time. Hey, I mean, you know, we approved 1 or 2 and 4, 5, 6 shut down. That's my first thing. My second thing is, it'd be terrible to tell them, you guys can't open up until we vote on what's gonna happen, because if we vote on it, then all these new licenses are gonna have to come before the city, before they're renewed again, to go through the right, you know, to the right resolution of what we're saying.
Yeah, but Council Chair, you're saying 8 out of 15, it's still hurting businesses throughout the city.
I mean, I don't know, how many Hanky Panks do you own in the city?
It's not about, I'm not trying to discriminate against one or profile one and not the other. It's just across the city. People that have brick and mortars
Please, sir.
pay,
1 second, the councilman.
you know, they pay taxes, they got overhead, they got employees, insurance.
But you gotta remember something, a lot of these businesses that they're staying at are not doing too well, and they're saying, if I can bring in some other extra attraction and I can collect rent from them, it's gonna help alleviate some of the issues. Because I can tell you for myself, I had a business owner in Dearborn Heights who was competing with another business in Dearborn Heights. Actually, it's right across the street. It's Dearborn, and they have a food truck called Corn on the Corner, which is absolutely amazing as well. But it's Dearborn side. And the owner of Fordham Beach Daily said, I am getting beat up. Nobody is coming to my business because I have nothing to offer them. You go down the street, which is Dearborn side, they're allowing them to be open. It's something that I need in order for my business to stay open. So like you have to, I know this is a very tough situation to put ourselves in. But I don't think saying, I don't want to approve any of these people into our new resolution, what if it's not approved? What if I look at it and three other people look at it and say, we don't like this new resolution? And then that's not approved, and then we're still holding off on this. And then we're not allowing somewhat of a destination place for Dearborn Heights.
The problem is currently right now, our ordinance does not talk about safety, health.
Every single one of them have to have, in order to get a license in the city of Dearborn Heights.
Not a single business I know a food truck is there has access to a public bathroom.
Every single one of these people that are open are all carry out. None of them are dine-in. That's the first and foremost, so you don't need that.
Employees don't use the bathroom?
I don't know. Maybe they can go inside the gas station and use the bathroom. Maybe they go across the street. I'm not sure. Maybe they go behind a tree. I'm not telling you decent exposure is allowed, but maybe that happens. But every single one of them have to pay a $500 bond that they don't get back until it's checked by the building department to make sure that the place is kept and clean after they close. Because somebody just called me and said that they needed the $500, and the building department said, I need the list, or I need this piece of paper that gives you a number. He said, I lost that paper. I said, well, then you just lost $500. So the city of Dearborn Heights just incurred this extra $500, and the guy doesn't get it back because he lost the paper. Secondly, you got to do a background check. You have to make sure that you're approved by the health department, and you have to go through the building department, and you got to go through the clerk's office. So there's truly so many different layers that these people are going before we sit there and say, I don't like it.
So my other thing is, Council Chair, is that we put a food trailer at a gas station, 250 square feet with parking spots. But if the owner of that property wanted to build 200 extra square feet into his building, we weren't allowed to do it, but you're putting a trailer out there, taking up parking spots.
Cost efficiency, to be able to build something to an addition to somebody's business.
I'm not against food trucks, just we have way too many of them now. And when I remember when you put this forward, you said this is gonna be a handful.
It still is a handful.
No, it's not.
It is.
Then we need to start cracking, because there are a lot of food trucks parked in the city.
Then ordinance should go after them if they're not licensed. But
Yeah, Council Chair.
I don't think tabling this is the right answer.
Council Chair?
Yes.
I don't have anything against food trucks, but I've never been a huge fan of them, because I always said that, like Councilman Saab said, it interferes with the brick and mortar, the guys that have been there and pay taxes. These food trucks don't pay any taxes. When you put a food truck on a property, say you put it in a convenience store, like 7-Eleven, to say, 7-Eleven pays their property taxes on their square foot of sales area. Now, you put a food truck on that property, that's increasing the square footage of sales area, and 7-Eleven should have to pay more property taxes. And it does take up parking spots. And I think we should look into why are so many failing.
Because they're not, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Dearborn Heights is more of a bedroom community. So you're not really gonna see a lot of these, like Hanky Pank might be open for this one time and then say, hey man, this wasn't worth it. I can tell you in the winter, we were not renewing any of these because nobody wanted to go wait in line at a food truck. Here comes the summer, and mind you, where Burgerati is on Telegraph, parking lot is massive. It's massive. It's like a Target's parking lot. So like you're not seeing, when the business owner came in and said, can you back it up? They backed it up. The business owner next door is selling pasta. And you know what? Sometimes competition is okay. It allows the next person to say, hey, I need to make a better product. I need to make sure that I'm on top of my game. There's nothing wrong with that.
Council Chair, again, this is not against food trucks. These business owners, although they're telling you we're not getting anything, they're charging up to $3,000 a month for food truck 300 product. What's the city getting out of it?
The city's allowing this business owner to stay open. What if the business is not doing well? Now they're allowing them to continue to pay their taxes.
But you could put one business to do better with another business, but you let two other brick and mortars fail.
How?
It's affecting brick and mortars.
Where? Can you show me the data? Where is that? Where have you told me a brick and mortar is shut down in the Dearborn Heights because of another one?
Nobody's called you from brick and mortar.
Not one person has told me my business has failed because of there's somebody across the street.
Take it to a vote. That's all I can say.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
We were counting how many, there's 11. Hassan Saab,
No.
Mo Baidoon,
Yes.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Robert Constant.
No.
Motion fails. I mean, I think this was a
Motion
terrible
fails.
decision, but it's a democracy. AK Paints ain't coming to Dearborn Heights. Next up, we have members of the public. We're gonna go comments from council members.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
got a few things I want to say. Number one, I know we're coming up on the 18th anniversary of our fallen officer, Jason Makowski. I just want to, I don't know if we're going to have a meeting before his anniversary, but is the city doing anything for him this year? Does anybody know? Are we recognizing, doing anything? Is there a baseball game this year for him at the Summerfest?
I don't know.
Director?
We just got confirmation that there will not be a game. They couldn't field enough players for the police versus the fire department.
And where did this come from, that there wasn't enough players?
That's what I was told.
By?
What's that?
By?
What do you mean by?
You were told by who?
Actually, it was a message I got from my secretary. They didn't tell me who called to let them know.
Okay. Keep record of that. Second thing I have is grass. I can talk about this every single week. Cut your lawns, man. The city looks absolutely horrible with the grass that we have. I can't believe what we're looking at. And I'm gonna talk about a personal story. I have a rental property in Dearborn. The tenant was out for work on a vacation for 4 days. They came with a ruler, measured his grass. He has a contractor that cuts it. It was a half an inch long. They charged $275 to cut it, and the city charged it. So I don't know why we're not charging and doing that. It's too nice, so. And third of all, I want to wish my wife a happy anniversary. Today's our anniversary.
Congratulations.
She's one of the hardest working attorneys I know, and just want to thank her for everything and everything she puts up with. Thank you, guys. Wedding. 3 years. She says it feels like 30, so I'm doing something right.
Council Chair.
Happy anniversary, Councilman.
Thank you, Council Chair.
And why? Yeah, happy anniversary to you and your lovely wife.
Today you should
He's lucky to have his wife.
You're here.
I always ask her, what does she see?
Believe me, I'm here serving the public. She actually had trial, so it didn't work out.
All right, who's next?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Thank you, Council Chair. The children are just finishing up school. I want to remind everyone to slow down, stop at stop signs, especially in our neighborhoods. I remember last year, I think it was, a client of mine that happened right in front of his house in Dearborn. The young girl was killed by a speeder. We don't want anything like that to happen. And also, just a comment again on what's going on in the Middle East. The latest has been the president halted a shipment of weapons to Israel because of the threatened continued actions by Israel. And the Prime Minister of Israel was on a talk show or something, say, well, we just have to do this. We're just going to go it alone. We're going to go ahead. It's just outrageous. And I ask everyone to write their elected officials and make sure that this genocide doesn't continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman?
We had a nice event put on by Tom Winslow last Saturday. And I'd like to mention the fact that Tom went to a lot of effort to get vendors, to get people from the city, to get prizes to give away. And it was supposed to be a family fun event. And unfortunately, one or two people decided to call people and tell them our event was canceled.
You know who did that?
Not exactly. And
Yes.
I think the people should be very sorry for what they did. They ruined it. The only way we found out after 2 hours of very little activity happening was that someone called and said, when are you rescheduling? And so I think it's extremely sad and very, yeah, the people should not have done that. And the children have suffered for it, as did the vendors who gave of their time and
Thank you.
energy.
Thank you.
I just think it's a shame that had to happen.
I agree. All set, Councilwoman?
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I will briefly speak on, and I'll leave the rest to Councilman Wanso, but I went there, I saw the clerk, I saw Councilman Saab, Councilwoman Breyer, and I did say the treasurer as well. Did I not? Okay, yes, and the treasurer. So Councilman Wanso, thank you for that. That was amazing. My son hung out with his son, and my son didn't want to leave. We thought we were going to go get ice cream so that we can leave, but he really didn't leave. And yeah, he had the entire gym to himself. This kid was running up and down. I mean, so whoever did that, shame on you for doing that. But my son enjoyed it, so I wish all the kids would have also enjoyed it. Some of the Crestwood kids from NHS showed up and were like, "Where's everybody at? Who told everybody that this was canceled? The event should never been canceled." Thank you to the police department for sending out the resource officer out there as well. Thank you to the fire department for bringing out their fire trucks. Now that that is over, I want to recognize that this is National Police Week. It's from May 12th to May 18th of 2024. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a proclamation which designated May 15 as Peace and Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that date falls is Police Week. National Police Week is a time to support the law enforcement community while honoring officers who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. This year, the National Police Week is May 12th through May 18th, 2024. You can see it on the National Police Week webpage for scheduled of any type of events. I want to salute my Dearborn Heights officers and Dearborn Heights firefighters, especially to our Dearborn Heights police officers who go above and beyond. We, the men, women, and children in this city, are thankful for you. Your job is not easy. It's a very, very difficult job. Sometime, like the other day, a kid, believe it or not, I was walking, me and my son, and I want to tell you, maybe 85 miles per hour down my block. And man, I screamed so loud, like, thank God he kept going, because I was not happy. And, sometimes you're put in these positions where, like, our officers going after, some of these reckless drivers or these perpetrators, and it's dangerous because, these officers are putting out their life on the line for us here in Dearborn Heights and to ensure safety of our residents. And, anytime you're seeing an officer in our city or even outside of the city, wave at them, say hello, try to be kind because, they're putting their life out every single day. And so I want our officers here in the city of Dearborn Heights, I know we got one here, we're also going to give her a round of applause. Welcome to Dearborn Heights. We honor you guys. We love you guys. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the summer. To the parents that are watching, giving out their kids these new cars or these very loud mufflers, I'm going to bring this up as well. Please modify those things to go a lot less or to not be as loud. I know a resident sent me a video who lives on Dwight. 2 blocks over is Charlesworth. It was at 3:30 in the morning, and it was so loud that I heard it on Amboy. And it's we can only be so many places, but I'm disappointed with how some of the residents, and look, it's not our police department, can't just put all the blame there. You got to put the blame on us and residents, and we're failing as residents when we're allowing certain things like this. If my neighbor drives down the street speeding, I swear, guys, he was 16 years old. I stopped him. I took his keys out of the car. I walked it over to his dad. I said, if he does it again, I'm probably going to end up in jail. He said, thank you so much. The car was stuck in the street. The father had to come back, pulled him by the ear. I was so proud of him. The father drove it back home. The kid actually now works at Big Al's Pizzeria, and he rides his moped to work. So he's no longer speeding down our street, but, I'm not asking any of the residents or anybody to do that because that's dangerous.
Rose, slow down.
Yeah, just slow down.
Slow down.
And lastly here, I really wanna, I know I say this a couple of times. George, she does so much for us on this council. And I didn't realize how much she actually did until being the council chair. That is a lot of work that she does. And really, I want this body to know everything that you guys see from the packet to the agenda to the line items to what we're approving, what we're not. I know Councilman Wanso asked in the past to see a breakdown of what we're approving, if it's getting passed or not. Guess what? George is the one doing all of that. I asked George to do a few things for me as well regarding the budget. Within 2 hours it was done, and she's amazing. Like, Dearborn Heights is lucky to have her. I swear. Round of applause to her. And then lastly, I'm just gonna speak up on the, on us not approving renewing these licenses for these individuals who are either already with us. So now, I don't know how we're gonna enforce to let them know they're not approved, Madam Clerk.
They'll call and we'll just have to tell them it wasn't approved by council.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that this wasn't approved, but look, the good news is this is a democracy. That's what we all signed up for, and I'm okay with that. But I am pretty disappointed that this was not approved.
A decision.
I mean, look, the council voted, they can bring it back, and they can reapply again. They can bring it before the agenda. I mean, we are missing 2 council members. That could potentially have changed things. And then, I know I read this about our National Police Week, but I asked the, Madam Clerk if that's okay to just read us, through some of our fallen officers in the city of Dearborn Heights, and then at the end of it, I'd like to have a moment of silence for our, fallen officers in the city of Dearborn Heights.
Okay, we have in memoriam, and excuse me for my pronunciation because I really don't know how to pronunciate the one officer's last name. In valor, there is hope. In memory of those Dearborn Heights police officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice and service to their community, may they rest in eternal peace. Patrolman Robert Dalladé, which is the room is named after him over at the police station. Badge number 37, end of watch, was August 22nd, 1966. Patrolman was killed during a high-speed pursuit when his patrol car skidded off the roadway and struck a tree on Warren near Silvery Lane. And then, I know exactly where I was for this one. Corporal Jason Mikowski, badge number 7, end of watch, May 25th, 2006, Riverside. Corporal Jason Mikowski was shot and killed after responding to a call involving a man walking around with a gun and threatening garbage collection workers on Dearborn, north of Ann Arbor Trail. We have a little more information on Officer Jason. I'd like to read that now. Yep. Jason Anthony Mikowski was born and raised in Dearborn Heights. He grew up on Charlesworth at the corner of Ashley. He was born to Marilyn Botcher Mikowski in 1948 to 2007, a social worker for the Veterans Administration, and Frank Mikowski 1947 to 2001, who retired as a detective for the city of Dearborn Heights. He has an older sister, Tara Mikowski Webster of Florida. Jason attended St. Mel's Catholic School on Inkster Road, north of Warren, Riverside Middle School, and Crestwood High School. After graduating high school, he attended Schoolcraft College and majored in criminal justice. Jason wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, as well as the footsteps of his uncle Frank Botcher and cousin Mike Botcher, who were Dearborn Heights police officers. It's got to be Brock Botcher's uncle then. Sorry. Jason put himself through the Wayne County Regional Police Academy at Schoolcraft College in 1995. He graduated ranked #1 in academics for his academy class. At that time, police jobs were scarce, and he took a job with Grosse Pointe Park Public Safety until an opening was available with the Dearborn Heights Police Department. Jason proudly wore his father's #7 badge while protecting the citizens of Dearborn Heights. While working full-time as a police officer, Jason earned his bachelor's and master's degree in public administration from Madonna University. Jason has had aspirations to attend law school. On May 25th, 2006, Jason was working a traffic overtime detail. He was finished with his detail and could have concluded his shift, but he heard a radio run on Dearborn in Ann Arbor Trail. There was a report of a man shooting at garbage workers. Responding officers arrived and were pinned down by gunfire. Jason, who was a trained special response team officer, went to position himself in a backyard across the street from the threat. Jason knew he had to get a tactical advantage to end the threat to his fellow officers and Dearborn Heights residents. Jason positioned himself behind the cover of a brick home. While Jason was trying to engage the shooter to stop the threat, the shooter shot Jason in the face. The shooter continued to engage all responding officers with gunfire, making it difficult to extract Jason from danger to medical attention. Ultimately, Jason was carried by officers from multiple jurisdictions to a Dearborn Heights Fire Department ambulance waiting on the next street. Jason was taken to Garden City Hospital and airlifted by med flight to the University of Michigan Hospital, where his mother had to make the difficult decision to take Jason off of life support the following day. While Jason was being conveyed to the hospital, members of the Dearborn Heights Special Response Team arrived, developed a plan, and aggressed the shooter, who was still engaging officers with gunfire. That team was able to put their countless hours of training to use and were able to end the threat. Credit should be given to Mark Myers for ending the threat. Jason was 31 years old and had a son, Cameron Anthony Mikowski, who was 3 years of age, Sammy, just my granddaughter, at the time of his death. Jason had an unmatched intellect and drive. There is no question he had a promising career ahead of him before gunmen cut his life short. He was a brilliant and driven man who no doubt would have been our captain, deputy chief, or even chief at this point. When Jason set out to do something, he educated himself on the subject and accomplished it with 100% effort and meticulous attention to detail. On May 25th, 2022, a small group of current and retired Dearborn Heights officers, 20th District Court staff, and Jason's closest family and friends celebrated his life at his graveside at St. Hedwig Cemetery. In attendance were his son Cameron, Cameron's mother Carrie, and Jason's best friend Tony. Those who grew up with Jason, along with his Blue family from the police department and court, shared fond stories of Jason with Cameron. Jason's best friend Tony was able to track down Jason's first gun that was given to Jason by his father Frank. That gun, a Glock 17, was given to Cameron in memory of his father. Sergeant Suggs was able to gather his entire shift for an impromptu procession to Jason's gravesite to pay respects to Jason and show Cameron how important and loved his father was. Cameron was very grateful for this display of love in memory of his father. I have spoken to many survivor family members of fallen law enforcement officers. Their main complaint is their fallen heroes department forgets about them. All their accounts are the same. The department was good for them for a few years, and then things trailed off and the contact stopped. We cannot forget the officers who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect their citizens and their brothers and sisters in blue. I was not on good terms with Jason at the time of his death, but I will never forget Jason Mikowski. There are many current and former city employees who also will never forget Jason Mikowski, and they make an effort to celebrate his life. We need to do a better job to make sure all employees and citizens of the city of Dearborn Heights know his story, know his bravery, know his sacrifice. Jason Anthony Mikowski, end of watch, May 25th, 2006. Father, hero, protector, warrior, fighter. His life mattered. I encourage each of you in your travels and patrols to drive by Charlesworth and Ashley and reflect that a hero grew up there. As you drive on Dearborn, north of Ann Arbor Trail, take the time to remember that a father gave his life to protect the citizens of Dearborn Heights. Jason was laid to rest at St. Hedwig Cemetery. He is with his mother, Marilyn, in a mausoleum at the Ford Road entrance. He is on your left, just after the entrance, before the traditional gravesite start. Tell his story, keep his memory alive. And this was written by Corporal John Kelly.
Madam Clerk, let's give a quick 1 minute, full 1 minute, 60 seconds of silence for the fallen officers in our city of Dearborn Heights. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Council Chair, this is on our bulletin board here at City Hall too, and in the employees' room, so that we don't forget.
Our heart goes out to the family of the fallen officers and to all those who serve our great country. Any other council members?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wanso.
I got a headache now, listening to all that, it's so sad. God bless all of our police officers in Dearborn Heights and all the police officers everywhere. Well, I don't know, that's a tough act to follow there. Yes. They deserve all the recognition possible to give your life for anything, for other people. That's the ultimate sacrifice in war and public safety. Can't go any further than that, I'll tell you. Yeah. Well, I do want to say a couple things, and I'm going to try to uplift it a little bit. I don't know. It was mentioned about our family fun night, and we didn't have the anticipated turnout that we thought we would, but a couple weeks prior to that, at Annapolis High School, we had a family fun night, and we had over 300 people, and at the end of the night, I felt bad because I didn't have a chance to spend any time with my family. It was family fun night, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise, but that Saturday, I got to spend the whole night with my family. So it was bittersweet, and, you know, I want to especially thank all the great students, you know, from Crestwood and the other students that showed up. Fantastic, dedicated, man, I'll tell you, couldn't have done it without them. I love those guys there and girls. They're so special in my heart. You know, we work well together. And, you know, I'll thank the Crestwood High School and the Crestwood School District. And Mo for coming out, Hassan Saab, Nancy Breyer worked at Lynn, was there, Lisa, and anyone else I forgot. But I'll talk more about that next week, because last week I mentioned our cleanup program, and we had a really big success there. And I spoke about it at the last meeting. It was just a special meeting. It wasn't the kind of meeting this is today. And I'd like to thank Mike Blackburn from our building maintenance department for going above and beyond to get our mulch there. And special thanks to Hassan Saab for attending and working with me to get sponsors. And Lynn was there working hard. Bob and Mo, Lisa was there. She was working her registration. Valentine Peppers, Artistic Landscape. They came in the night before and they spent 4 hours edging the rain gardens. It's got a metal roof. Nancy was there. Vaughn Martin from Ray Trim. He came, donated his time, and it was a really special event. You know, our sponsors, especially like JT Crova Towing, Studs Hardware, Cordy's Collision, David Kniezek, our County Commissioner, Mo Baydoun, Elite Sports, POAM, Wade Trim, Sweets by Sarah, Denise Malinowski, Jamie's Kids, VIP Car Wash, John Zadikian, the Rotary Club, Linsenia, Lisa Hicks Clayton, Saturn Food, Platt Moran, Tifa, and our Dearborn Heights Fire Department, and I think I did mention Studs Hardware. I mean, these people came through for us to pay for our shirts and all the food and everything we had, and it was a really, really great event. And I want to thank everyone for coming out. And, you know, this month also, with being the month of the police officers, it's also Mental Health Month. And last year at this time, I made a suggestion that we do something special, and I talked with the fire chief at the time. I never had enough time to do it, and I know now it's getting 2 weeks left. And mental health is a very big issue in Dearborn Heights and around the world, and it's something that's, you know, it causes a lot of problems, you know, in a home, and, you know, in bad problems with people, you know, committing suicide. And I think that's something we should look into, you know, doing something in the future for this. And it's also Bicycle Safety Month. And I'm sure our Public Safety Commission, I was going to get together with them and maybe do something special for Bicycle Safety Month. You know, this year I get these ideas. I got so many things going on. You know, maybe next year we could have a bicycle ride throughout the city, you know, different areas, you know, just to bring bicycle safety awareness. And I think, speaking of Public Safety Commission, committee, over the summer, you know, school's almost out. Maybe it's the perfect time to spend the next 3 months looking into public safety, you know, making sure our crosswalks are painted, work diligently on getting crossing guards. And I live on a corner where there's a four-way stop, and I mentioned it before, it's just a four-way intersection. And I can sit there and within an hour, 2 or 3 cars just go right through and don't even touch their brakes. And I know, you know, this is common everywhere, and obviously the police departments, not only Dearborn Heights, and everyone say they have no answer to this. And I'm opening this up for suggestions. If some residents have an answer of how we can make people stop, I put a cone out in the middle of my intersection, big orange cone. And right in the middle where it didn't impede any traffic turning or anything, someone stole it.
Oh, jeez.
And so I think, you know, if anybody's got any ideas, I've got a couple ideas myself, but I mean, this is getting ridiculous. It's inevitable. You know what's going to happen. It's inevitable. Someone's going to get hurt really bad, you know.
Hey, Tom, I got something for you in my truck when you leave. I'll give it to you.
A cone?
I got something. I'm serious.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, and then you know what's going to happen? Oh, my gosh, someone just got hurt really bad, or even worse. Let's get on this case right now after the horse is out of the barn, you know. So let's not just talk about this. Let's, you know, these stop signs are major. Speeding is another thing, but stop signs in residential areas, the speeding takes place everywhere, especially on our, you know, bigger streets, but they go up the residential streets too. But a stop sign in a residential area where every stop sign, there's children in that area. There's probably not one in Dearborn Heights where there's not a child within a few houses from that stop sign. So it's going to happen if we don't do something about it. So I think we should look into that. Maggie, maybe we should look into a lot of things, you know. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you, Council Chair.
Okay. Any other councilmen? If not, we'll go to announcements from the administration.
Councilman Baydoun.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to talk about a couple of upcoming programs. First off, this Saturday, May 18th, all day at JFK Library, we'll be having a plant swap. Give a plant, take a plant. Have any plants left over from spring planting? If so, come out to the library and exchange them for new ones. Next, join us for Team Game Night, Monday, May 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Carroll and Kennedy Library. We will be having a variety of games like Monopoly, Battleship, and card games. We will also be featuring a Nintendo Switch, so come on out. Finally, Saturday, June 29th at 2 p.m., the Sons of the American Revolution will be honoring Thompson Maxwell with a plaque unveiling. Thompson Maxwell was a veteran who fought in the Revolution, the War of 1812, and other conflicts, and was a part of the Boston Tea Party. Should be special, so come on out. That's all for now. Thanks for your time.
I got a
and see
serious
you later.
question though. I know you said there's gonna be a bunch of games and one of them you said was Monopoly.
Yes?
When was the last time you played Monopoly, Director?
Well, you can play Speed Monopoly. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. By the way, I want you to know I'm part of a Monopoly group chat. I play Monopoly once a week.
Uh-huh.
And I know which houses to buy now because I used to be the rookie that used to just buy any of them, right?
Okay, all right.
But Monopoly is really, it's a lot of luck, 25% luck. Really, it's 75% skill.
Uh-huh.
And I really
Okay.
believe I might be the best Monopoly player in the city.
Okay, all right.
But,
Well, maybe come on out and try.
I think
try
we
your
need to
good
plan
fortune.
something where we do like a Monopoly tournament at the library. And anybody that beats me, gonna get a year's supply of free ice cream.
Probably have to be an all-day event if it's a full tournament.
Yeah, nobody's gonna beat us.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Council Chair, Director?
Yep.
The plant swap?
Yeah.
Was what day was that?
Oh, this Saturday
Oh,
at
this
JFK
Saturday?
Library, all day.
All day?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna mention something else, but, the Watershed Steward Commission, we're planning a beautification project. We did the rain gardens a couple weeks ago. But we wanna do something in the front of the building to show our gratitude for the Parks and Recreation and the city and everybody to let us have this project. And we're looking for perennial plants. So if anyone has a plant and no one wants it, it's a perennial, the Watershed Steward Commission would love to take it.
Okay.
And if someone wants to donate specifically to the Watershed Steward, that would be great too.
Okay.
And then the officer, what's the gentleman from the Boston Tea Party? My mind's.
Thompson Maxwell.
Thompson Maxwell.
Yeah.
We had a ceremony about a year ago. wasn't it?
Yep.
And I mentioned it before, this is like historic. I mean, this is major American history. This guy's buried in Dearborn Heights. He participated in the Boston Tea Party. He's the furthest person participating in Boston Tea Party, furthest buried west. So there's no one close to us that is buried. I think the furthest east, the next one is in Pennsylvania or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to have somebody like this, and the ceremony was fantastic. It should have been attended by a lot more people. And I think we should mention that date again.
Oh, yeah, I will. Oh,
What is it?
definitely. It's Saturday, June 29th at 2 p.m.
Saturday, June 29th.
Yep. Little Red Schoolhouse.
Little Red Schoolhouse, and that's right behind Sabina.
Yep, it's right behind St. Sabina. It's on a 10-foot stretch of gully, which is kind of concealed. It's kind of actually hard to find, but finding St. Sabina is a better way to look it up.
And Director McCaffrey has done an awesome job over the last couple of years refurbishing the schoolhouse. Inside the schoolhouse, it's kind of modern. It's got every desk, they have the old desk, but they have tablets on each one, the chalkboard tab.
Yeah, it was a collective effort through the years too. The Riley family did a lot of work.
really-
and maintenance has also helped out in terms of
I'm
keeping.
gonna have to wrap this director up here.
June 29th.
June 29th. He's gonna bring it up more than once.
Then
All
this
right.
weekend.
Do we have anyone else from the administration?
Thank you.
Mrs. Sauer? Am I saying your name right?
It's just like SOUR, sour.
Why do they spell it SOWER?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird.
It's her husband's fault.
Yes, it is. I'm up here to remind you about the Dearborn Heights Summerfest that we've got coming up on June 5th through the 9th. I just sent emails out to you with all the information and the details. We will have our flyer posted on our website tomorrow, so all the residents will be able to get it that way. A couple of new things that we're doing this year is on Wednesday night, we've got amusement ride discount band night. They're $5 off for everyone. We're not doing a coupon this time, so they don't have to turn in a coupon. And the ride bands are $20 each for that night, so that makes it really nice. Also, we're running a shuttle from the south end using the Eaton Center parking lot. And the shuttle will run every 30 minutes, so between the north end sites and the south end sites. But it's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when we have the big crowds. Evening.
The hours, that shuttle.
What's that?
The hours.
The hours will be from 5 to 10 p.m. Yeah.
Prime time.
Yeah, so you'll be able to pick up a ride. Our major attractions are bands this year. Thursday night is Bassam Salau. Magic Bus is Friday night.
Bassam Salah. I love how you say his name.
Did I say it wrong?
Yes. Bassam
Okay.
Saleh.
It's called what? It's set how?
Saleh.
Sala. Okay, all
That's
right,
good.
like he said. I know him, and he's really nice, and he doesn't get after me when I mispronounce his name.
I swear I have so much fun every year when he performs.
I've mispronounced it every single year, I'm sure of it. So, Magic Bus Friday night, 7 to 10 p.m., all of the times for each of these nights. A new band that we've never had before, Cruisin' Jupiter. They do classic rock, new country, top 40s, and pop.
Oh,
and
Tom's favorite.
Is it? And then Power Play on Sunday night. We've never had them before either, and they're a wide variety of many genres. So, and then Senior Jubilee we have on Wednesday from 10 to 2. We've got Chris Ayat, who's doing a tribute to Elvis, and he also does a variety show, so he's going to be...
Is it this Wednesday you said, or next Wednesday?
This is Wednesday, June 5th.
Okay.
For the Jubilee, and I just sent you an email on that. So, anyway, and then again, thank you very much for approving Antonio's contract. I appreciate that. So,
Mrs. Sauer, I know I've asked about this in the past. I know Councilman Wenzel today talked about just this month being Autism Awareness Month. The city of Dearborn during the Homecoming Fest offers autistic or disabled individuals in the city to be able to go to the festival beforehand, before they're even open, and allow them to ride on the rides and eat some of the things. Can we incorporate it for it to be a part of this year? I know it's short notice. I know I've asked about it last year, though. I just want to be able to offer certain things to our disabled children and even our seniors who are disabled, who want to be there and are like, no, I'm afraid. You know?
Well, as far as the seniors go, we do have handicap parking at the fire station, so they can pretty much come in at any time. Also, we have the shuttles, and our buses that we're using have wheelchair accessibility. But in regards to the others, that's something that I actually can send an email to the ride company to see.
They do it.
What
the same ride
they've done in the past for other communities.
Yeah.
And look into it, because I haven't before.
My next question is more of a comment. Thank you, because every year I walk up to the director and I say, I have 15 nephews and nieces. We need wristbands.
Yeah.
And she gives me the wristband. So
yeah.
I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, she offered it. I didn't just walk up to her and say, give them to me. She said, I have wristbands, and she gave them to me. So.
And you know what? They do give me a limited amount, so.
Hey, Tommy, don't bring the 15 nephews and nieces.
Yeah. You'll see it in my email.
I mean, we're spending.
But it doesn't say 15, and it's not addressed to just you.
You know, we're spending all of our money on like the corn dogs and elephant ears and pizzas and lemonades and lemonades and lemonades. It's like I bought 20 lemonades, and each lemonade costs $7, $8.
Yes.
So.
And actually, that's probably inexpensive to other things. I mean, we've had vendors before, and a drink's been more than $7.
I won 0 prizes. I spent over $100 on trying to win prizes. I won 0.
I'm not good at those either, so.
Everything just felt so rigged.
Yeah, but it is a lot of fun, and you get to see a lot of people, so. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I have a quick question for you. If someone were to go there, and I know we're there to support the ride company and stuff, but if someone were to go there with, X amount of dollars, and they wanted to benefit the city the most, where would they spend their money on?
Are you talking about a resident that comes and wants to have
I
fun?
want to come there and I had $100 to spend. I wanted the city to benefit the most with $100.
It would be the rides.
The rides?
Yeah, we actually, the contract that you guys approved this year, I was able to talk them into an additional 2%. So we went from 25 to 27% of the take for the whole week. So, and that revenue comes back to the city.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Madam Clerk.
Lynn Senya, City Clerk, Dearborn Heights. I'd like to give a sincere thank you to Councilman Wenzel for his undying family support. From the Rain Garden, all of you were there at the Rain Garden, to the Family Fun Night in Annapolis and at Crestwood. my daughter Lucy had a wonderful time, and I got to show her where her mom and her TT went to school, and the NHS students were phenomenal with her. They had the time to hang out with her. You know, she wasn't so good about the obstacle course. That was her first one, and if I was a little bit younger, I would have gotten that bounce house with her. You know,
I did.
You got in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she was playing with the basketball and kicking the volleyball, and she was just having a blast. So thank you. Thank all of you. It was a wonderful, wonderful, both of them community events. And then I did go to the Thrive by Any Means. Was that it? Yep. Thrive by Any Means, which was honoring 3 moms who lost their children, and Joey Smith being one of them. And as you know, I lost my grandson, so it was hard, but I'm sure it was hard for you too, Councilman. But it was educational too, you know, so it was very nice to honor the moms. So thanks.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to.
Sorry, Mr. Farina, Council Chair. We had a resolution for Mr. Farina at the last meeting, and this is announcements.
This is administration. I'm just making the announcement for the Veterans Seminar.
Council Chair, please.
Hang on, Mr. Farina. Sure, Councilman.
Councilman met put a resolution. We did not approve Mr. Farina, so it should not be under announcements.
Mr. Farina, I'm going to have.
Well,
I'm going to have the treasurer. I'm sorry. Let's have the councilwoman go real quick, and then you'll open us up to public comment.
That's fine. Whichever way you want to do it.
Ladies first, anyways, right?
Okay, just a reminder that we do have our Ecorse Creek meeting, and it will be on the 22nd, 6 o'clock. And then the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association is that Thursday. This is next week, the 23rd. That's at 7. Both are at the location 3335 South Beach Daily. Love to see you guys there.
Just want to make the announcement we were having a Veterans Seminar. Sure.
Anyone else from the administration? We're going to do one more. We're going to do one more.
Well, if you don't want my speaking for administration, I won't speak, but we'll make the announcements. Thank you, Councilman. I just want to make sure it's on.
Margaret King, Public Safety Committee. I just wanted to make everything transparent and give an update. We have not given an update since we've done it. My team has met with all 3 school superintendents. We've gone over the school zone safety, their well-known problem areas, the crossing guards, crosswalk signage, markings, school enforcements, such as their speedy limits. And then I have met with Director Swope. We've had an awesome, I'll throw a piece of paper in it. Thank you. We've had a great conversation, and we came up with a plan in place from what I have taken from our school superintendents, brought it to him, and we have made a plan. But we do need your guys' help. So as far as one of the things that we would like to first start to do is the double fine in school zones. I think hit them where it would count, and that would be in their pocketbook, and to go forward with it. But we need we would need a ordinance to back that up. So that's where, if I could have you guys come in, please. And then I had looked up different prices of those, so I can shoot you an email, Mo. Will do. Adding reflective tape to the stop signs would be another one at nighttime, so that way they would see the stop signs and hopefully stop.
You know, I'm gonna stop you there. For some odd reason, there's one in my neighborhood, and
there's what?
There's a sorry, Ange. There's a reflected stop sign. So, but it's on the pole.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what we would like throughout all 3 school zones.
Hey, and let me tell you guys, it's the one stop sign that you really notice.
Yeah, we discussed that.
And it makes a difference.
Because of what time, you see it more, and you see it further away.
Yep.
So it naturally is going to catch your eye.
Tom almost got arrested for putting those.
They work. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk to Mr. Deeb after. We're gonna bring him up to the podium.
And then adding the flashing LED lights to them, we were gonna do but we would like to do a trial period with everything and see how it goes.
So we passed the Joey Smith initiative, and that all included illuminating around our schools within a mile radius,
Right.
proper signages, school zone strips written across our streets, enforcing more stop signs, more crosswalks, and not just by our schools, but even on the blocks over, because people are walking to school, especially if you're
Right.
walking to Annapolis or Polk, or some of these schools. Like I watched children walking back and forth to school, so the crosswalks can't just be in the vicinity of the school. It's got to go within a mile radius, right?
Perfect.
So for comfort,
Perfect.
I believe that's what we approved. Mr. Deeb said he was working on that with.
So what does this grant all uncover?
I mean, it's been approved by this body, and now it's just on the administration to move forward and implement it, right?
Well, we're coming up to summer now. Kids are going to be out. I know, it's going to take time, and there's studies that have to be done and whatnot. But
Mr. Deeb, you want to speak on this a little?
can we please, Mr. Deeb? Yeah, we can. Me and Mr. Deeb have met before. We can set up a meeting and go through this. But I
And I can give you the resolution because it goes
Please
through
do.
every single thing.
I will email you what I have.
Can you actually email it to her, Madam Clerk, or George? Thank you.
While we're waiting for Director Deeb to come up here, the reason I'm up here is because I was part of two other moms that lowered the speed limit at Beach Daily in Kennedy by my house.
I
It's
remember
lowered
that.
to
I remember you telling me
25,
that.
and that's how I got blah, blah, blah. And we had to, and I told Margaret not to give up because it can happen. You just have to be persistent. It might take a long time. We did go to each of the schools to get their support. We came to the city to get their approval to get the beacon lights, because we have the beacon lights there. But the most important thing, and I see the director's here, is to have that enforcement. I don't think, there's very few tickets, I believe, that have ever been written at Kennedy and Beach Daily. It lowers, thank you for getting the beacon lights to work, because they weren't working there for a while. But it's the enforcement, hit them in the pocket. And double fines in school zone.
Yeah.
So I just,
We'll work on it.
don't give up.
Okay, so I won't speak to the enforcement, obviously. This is a separate, because you can do all the engineering you want. If people don't stop at a stop sign, it's an enforcement issue. But, so you took away my surprise, because the preliminary finding of the study that we authorized last year, it was just delivered a few days ago, and I'm going through it. It's not exactly where, it's still preliminary. It's not exactly what I want it to be, but it does cover all the schools. Our licensed traffic engineer did a pretty good job, I think, but it's still not what I want it to be. So the final report will cover all the treatment that because no two crossings are alike. It covers combination. It includes combination of things from, hawk signal to LED light to painting and traffic, but I'm still going through it. The final report is still
Mr. Deeb,
cooking.
I'm not even going to ask you the question of when we're going to start. I'm just going to tell you, please let's start. Look how nice I'm saying it. Let's just start, please. Let's start getting some signages. I promise you, this is such a simple, easy task. Please, all we're asking for some flashing lighting, illuminate some more lighting across, put stencil school zone around the school. The schools, a big square, a big rectangle on every street, school zone, school zone, school zone, school zone, flashing lights. People know they're in a school zone.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm gonna repeat. You authorized a study for the school
I wish I
crossing
authorized this.
throughout the city of Dearborn Heights, and this is what we're expecting our consultant to do. And they give us recommendations for each and every school. All right.
I'm not going to argue. I love you. I love you.
This is what we paid for. We hired a company to do that.
But this company has taken forever, and it's been more than a year. We've been here for a lot longer than a year. Joey Smith's going on to 2 years in October.
Would you like me to cancel the contract?
Yeah, why don't you just start? Cancel the contract and just start doing your work. You're an engineer. You know what's best. You know what signages should be around. I don't need TIA to tell us that.
It's not TIA. This is weight trim. This is a transportation study. This is not a traffic
What happened to the
enforcement.
TIA one that we said we were gonna go with you?
TIA doesn't, so this is a misconception. I'm not asking for records of crashes on intersection. We're not designing anything. I asked for a transportation engineer to look at the crossing and to observe where the kids are crossing. If you recall, when we did that a year ago, we said we don't want to repeat what other cities did. They put crossing devices in the wrong locations. So throughout the year, our consultant went and monitored all the crossings throughout the city and came up with recommendations as to where to place them. So now what we have is a study with a location. So take the school over here, the Star Academy. We have 3 recommendations at 3 crossing devices, one on George, one on Fenton, one on Hess, and they're all different. And then so this engineer came up with where to place them based on what they watched in the street. So the kids are crossing in certain areas, not where you want them to be. Dearborn did that, and I can tell you, 80%, when I met with Dearborn, 80% of the devices that were installed with painting and flashing are not being used.
Okay, Mr. Deeb, I know it's a little off topic, but on the corner of Beach Daily and Wilson.
Beach Daily and Wilson, yep.
On the left-hand side, if you're heading towards Cherry Hill.
Okay.
If you're facing Cherry Hill, on your left-hand side, the crosswalk that says walk or stop is facing the wrong direction. I don't know if some kids maybe vandalized it or pushed it around, but I just now, since we're talking crosswalk.
Wilson and crosswalk, okay, I'll look at it. But, so this is actually good. And the idea was to do the monitoring during good weather and do the work
Are we
during
gonna start
winter.
this year?
Summer. Do the
Are we gonna
work in
start
the
this
summer.
year?
Do the work in the summer when schools
Are we
out.
gonna start it this year?
In the summer, between schools, yes.
Summer's in like 2 weeks.
Okay, so we'll talk in 2 weeks. But the idea is for them to do the monitoring so that, this is good.
In
It's
2 weeks,
actually
I'm
good.
gonna come here in 2 weeks.
Fine.
I'm gonna be here.
I'll take a day off.
Groundhog's Day, I'm gonna be like, hey, how you doing?
I'll take a day
Tell
off.
the groundhog. All right.
Yes. It's preliminary. It's still work in progress. It's still in progress. I rather not release it because it's still work in progress. I'm changing things in it. I marked it up and I'm sending it back to the.
So you think we're gonna be able to get all this fixed up, changed up, and then start to work in 2 weeks?
When schools are out, we will have the plan ready and then the implementation will be during summer recess. That's the idea. It was always planned that way. It really was.
We're having a good meeting. Let's just all have a good night.
Don't screw that
Let's just
up.
all have a good. It's a good meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
You're absolutely amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna be full of compliments moving forward. That's what we need. Everybody seems like they're laughing. They're happy. It's a good meeting. It's a great meeting. I mean, we shut down all the food trucks, but thanks to Councilman Saab. But here we are. It's okay.
We're re-examining the policy.
Dearborn Heights.
It cost a lot. It cost a man's life. Amen. They're not for sale. They cost a man his life.
Hang on.
This year?
Hang on 1 second. I'll be the timekeeper. I'll go back to my old roots. Sir, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Vince Trapkowski, Columbia Street. I'll start over again. They're not for sale. It cost a man his life. And Miss Kim Sauer handed out one of these. And I noticed on Friday, the 7th of June, which is usually the yearly Jason Mikowski Memorial softball game, but it's not on the list. It's not on the list because we don't have enough officers to work and to fill in order to do this game between the police department and the fire department. The trophy is a bat that we play for each year. In the last couple of years, it hasn't been played. It's not because we didn't have the ball field, it's because we didn't have the officers. This year, it's not being played because we don't have the manpower to cover the festival. Usually we have reserve officers helping out at this festival. This year, you won't see any reserve officers. All our officers are mandated to work overtime to cover this festival. So we don't have a full force. We probably won't until this administration does something.
Hey, point of order, please. Go ahead.
That is the point. This administration has to do something right. We wouldn't have lost so many officers if they were doing something right. So just to let you know that it won't be done this year. And just as this administration has done in the past, they've never honored our officers or our memorial people at St. Hedwig Cemetery where they are mostly buried. In honor of Memorial Day weekend, the only person that has continued the tradition is Lisa Hicks Clayton, the city treasurer, for taking a wreath up to the memorial. But this year, it won't be done because there's nobody from the city administration, the city council, except for Miss Lisa Hicks Clayton, who still honors the tradition of taking a wreath up and recognizing our fallen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Vince.
They can sit there.
How you doing, ma'am?
Good, how are you, Bo?
Not too bad.
Good evening, everyone.
Please state your name.
Angela
and city.
Venegas,
Yep.
Dwight Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Being that it's National Police Week and everybody knows I have 3 sons who are police officers, I want to thank you for bringing that up. I also want to bring up at this time, the last CompStat meeting I went to. I'll hand these pictures out to you guys. This is our police memorial in front of the police station. It's a disgrace, and it dishonors the officers who have lost their lives in the city of Dearborn Heights. It's full of weeds, paint's peeling from it. The flags that were out there are tattered. We just went there last night to look at it to see if anybody was cleaning it up or did anything. I pulled some weeds at the last CompStat meeting. And I just think, as a city, we need to do something to honor our fallen officers. They gave their lives, and they're out there every day protecting us, and I just find this very disheartening. On another note, I'm going to talk about Beach Daily, Riverside. You guys all know, school, Kennedy and Hines, grass overgrown. Somebody cut the grass, we're not sure. We think it was Wayne County. It's a safety issue to our kids. You can't have grass 3 feet tall bordering Hines Park. People could be hiding in the bushes. I cleaned it up last year. I found needles there. Underneath the bridge is terrible. What are we doing to protect our kids? It's the only route they have to walk down Beach Daily. The other side has no sidewalk. What are we going to do? I'm asking you guys, what can we do?
I'm gonna pause. So, not to just like try to go around and say we want some type of fame, but myself, Councilman Ahmad, Councilman Saab, were at an event. We left the event, we were in suits, we stood outside. The clerk saw a house, I'm not even gonna tell you where she lives.
I know where she lives.
I sent an address for everybody, and Commissioner David Kniezek. And
Dave cut the grass last year.
yes, and so did you.
Yeah, I know.
And so we were not gonna cut the grass like we did last year because one, Dave got yelled at by Wayne County.
Yep.
And so we called my buddy, Spotless something, Abdullah Humayed, and he brought in his big mower, and he brought in his team, and it was already done. And I started saying, Dave, let's take the credit. And he said, no. So we cannot take the credit because Councilman Saab also said, no, you can't take the credit because what if the right person comes forward? I said, well, it's my word versus theirs, but really, we didn't cut it. Somebody cut it. But Angela, you went back out there and you actually made sure you were blowing all the grass. That was extremely, and we saw the grass and we're like, man, we wish somebody would have just at least finished the job. And then I think you went out and finished the job.
I did. I always do every year.
What is the solution?
Yeah, I mean, when are we going to start? The biggest problem is, and Mr. Deeb knows, we have the argument between if it's a city road, county road, Heinz Park is there, is it part of the park? Nobody wants to take responsibility, and everybody's pointing fingers at everybody.
You know, honestly, what my honest opinion, the county's probably not gonna do it, right? Because they have so many of these slabs that they just have to cut. Because even when we called on them, or the commissioner called on them, or the clerk called on them, or Mr. Deeb called on them, or Councilman Saab, or Councilman Constant, whomever it may be, called on the county, they just, she calling me now, sorry guys. Angela? Angela?
Yes, Mo.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was on. Presidential stuff.
Stop it.
I stopped your time. I don't know, really,
When are we gonna hold Wade County accountable? I mean, somebody has to take responsibility. It's the kids, I talked to a woman, she walks there while I was cleaning the sidewalk last year, walks that way to and from work. People ride their bikes to Heinz, you got kids riding their bikes, it's not safe.
I agree. And believe it or not, I used to ride my bike from my house to Joy Road and make a ride onto my boy Abdul's house. And, you know, I know what it's like going up and down there. I played football at Riverside. We used to have to cross the street and, you know, go down to the field. And that field itself also needs to be cut up. But, honestly, I don't have an answer for you. That'd be something the administration's got to respond to. I would love to see maybe just, you know, for the sake of the children, I don't care who does it, if DPW went out there and cut it once every 2 weeks or once a month, that would be nice.
Or we can get volunteers together, kids,
or you know,
after school program. I'll go with them.
You know what we should do? Just cement it all. Nobody's gonna do it.
No, they can't even fix the sidewalks between the road and the sidewalks. They're all crumbling. Okay.
Start your time again.
Trees ordinance. What are we doing about that? You guys talked about it, getting stuff going on that. We talked about blight stuff. We talked about grass. When are we going to get fines going? We can't wait all summer again. Hassan Saab says, and he's right. The neighborhood looks like holy crap with grass. When are you guys going to get it going?
Next meeting.
That's a great question. I know Councilman Saab is a big adamant on this. Former Councilman
Musket
was a huge adamant on this. Yourself, myself, I think all the council members, nobody wants to see blight in the city. Really, it goes back to the enforcement. Is there going to be a resolution that's going to be brought forward?
But you know what, Mo? I know ordinance is writing tickets or putting out violations. I see them all over the place. And the problem is, they're violations, they're not fines. You can write all the violations you want. They give them the 7 days, and then trust me, I've got 4 or 5 of them on my block. 2-3 weeks, they'll let the grass grow again until they get another violation. And it's been an ongoing circle. You guys need to implement fines to take the burden off ordinance too. They'd have a lot more time to do other things.
Stop her time for 1 second. So Dearborn actually has a 48-hour turnaround, and on the second day they actually cut the grass. So I plan on putting Son at the next meeting to work on our ordinance.
We needed to get it done.
The problem is that even if we put in the resolution, doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, I just don't see it happening. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see it happening.
You gotta hit them with fines.
I know, that's the answer. The answer is given to you. You gotta hit them with a fine.
That's why we need to change the ordinance.
Somebody gets hit with a $400 or $500 ticket for not cutting the grass. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna fight it. They're gonna have to pay it, or it's gonna go to their taxes, or they're gonna go to jail, or I don't know. I'm not a judge or a lawyer, but guess what? They're never gonna forget to cutting their grass. That's what you need to do.
That's what we need.
Hit them in their pockets.
You need to charge them $500 if you. And guess what? The Press Guide, the Times Herald, again there, Times Herald, TCD, Dearborn.org. Everybody should be talking about what Dearborn Heights is enforcing. That's it. We can even send out a mailer to everybody. You don't cut your grass, you're getting charged $500. We need to push some type of campaign.
We have to. Maybe send out a flyer. I think people think that dandelions are flowers too. I think we need to let them know what weeds are and what are flowers.
We gotta first adjust the ordinance and the fees before we send a flyer.
Yep.
$500. That's what I propose.
We'll get it at the next meeting.
Okay. Also, Mr. Saab, poles that were on the lawns, people's grasses are not getting fixed. Sprinkler systems are still broken. We need to get a hold of DTE. And
honestly, I had a talk with them on Wednesday last week. They're on it.
Okay. And businesses up and down Ford and Warren, we need something done enforcement with them too. The paper, the litter, the garbage, and the biggest thing I noticed coming from Telegraph to Beach Daily on Ford Road on the Dearborn Heights side, 3 trash cans out all along Ford Road. If the businesses, I think, would put out trash cans, maybe they would use them.
I see it.
I have more, but that's all. Have a good night.
It's been a while.
God bless the blue.
God bless the blue. Anyone else in the audience? Going once?
Nope, hold on.
Yes.
Going twice?
Hold on.
Going twice and a half?
Good evening. My name is Steve Vale. I live on East Pleasant Ridge Street in the Gulfview Manor Civic Association. I've lived on the corner of East Pleasant Ridge and Warren for over 35 years. Here tonight because over the 35-year period, I've noticed, especially, of course, when the weather gets warm, Warren Avenue turns into a dragway. It used to be mostly contained to the weekends. I noticed for the last couple of years and this year, because warm weather started a little early, we're now seeing drag races of cars and motorcycles start with the evening rush hour. And it goes from Inkster, Fairwood's a good light where they like to line up there and wait for it, get it, and then they're off and running to Beach Daily. I know police cannot be everywhere, but it would seem if we could either stagger patrols, somehow surprise them once in a while, and start handing out tickets. I see very little police activity, very little cars pulled over. Again, living right on the corners there. I've been privy to a couple accidents there at Fairwood and Warren Avenue over the years. I don't know what can be done. I know it's not going to be a simple answer. It'd be nice even at evening hours if we just had a police car during certain patrol periods run down the grommet from Inkster to Telegraph with its lights on at the speed limit, just so that they know it's there. They see it.
I like that idea.
I'm not. Pause this time for 1 second, please.
Let him finish. Then we can. I'll be able to let him go.
Yeah. The only last thing is, along with the sound. For some reasons, we now have cars with open headers.
Yeah.
I thought we had sound enforcement or abatement law on the books at some point. A simple DBA meter, handheld, can catch this. Police need to drive with their windows down. I can hear the engines going from Inkster all the way to Telegraph on a warm summer's night with all the windows open. It's just something, we need to do something somewhere. So I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Take your time. Hang on, the councilman has something.
Sir, why don't you get in touch with the police department, the director there, maybe he can assist you.
Well, this is what we'll do is, George, can you actually give your contact information to George? You're gonna fill this out. George will get it over to the police department.
Sure.
Sure, Director Swope will, and we'll go from there. And George, you can also write my phone number for him in case he needs to reach out to me.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Vince has been in a good mood lately.
He's singing over here.
Okay, anyone else here in the audience? Seeing none, we're gonna go over
Hold
to.
on. Come on up, man.
I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Come on up.
Please state your name, the city you reside in, the street you live on. By the way, she's been sitting in this meeting since 6 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, how are you, everybody? So, first of all, my name is Bushra Al-Jaburi. I live in Hazelton Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, 48127. So, I came today because I need your help for real. So, in front of my house, there is a big tree. It is very big. The branch come on the roof. And I'm single mom. I ask about someone like private, like company to come to cut it. First of all, I contact Dearborn Heights to like help me out with it. They said if it's like on the street, we can't do it, but like it is like your tree. So I asked the private company about to help me out to cut it. They said it is like $15,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should get more bids.
Yeah. So I work by myself. I have two sons, like still in the school. I have mortgage. I have like more than 2 credits to pay.
I'm gonna pause your time. $15,000 is way over, I think, anybody in this room's budget.
Yeah. Also, you know, by the group on Facebook, people said you can't contact them like someone. She's come with like someone to check, and she said it is 10,000. I told her if it's like just the branch, she said 5,000. So still, it is very expensive to me.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Right here.
Oh yeah.
Yes. First and foremost, thank you.
Very welcome, sir.
For being such a strong, admirable, and powerful woman who's taking care of her 2 children and residing here in Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
I commend you for being so strong. Thank you for that. My question to you is, Bushra, you said something. Is it on the city easement or is it on your actual property?
No, in my actual property, yeah.
So the city, if it's on your property, probably most likely 99% sure they will not touch it. Because
Yeah.
One, we can't be liable.
Yeah.
We can't put ourselves in that position, but I think maybe like the councilman's saying, CDBG is a department that will help enforce something. Either way, fill out your information with George. George, email me, the director tomorrow of CDBG, to see if we can help. No guarantees.
Yeah, but you know, try
Well,
maybe.
But you know what? I appreciate you coming out here. I appreciate you waiting. I appreciate you, having the courage to speak before us and asking for this request. You know what? If I can personally help you, I'm going to do my best to try to help you.
Please.
Maybe we can reach out to some nonprofits and see if they can, put forward to help trim up, maybe not remove the tree, but, help trim up some of the tree.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so fill out your information.
Yeah.
If you need any help with that, let me know.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can we, before we go to Mr. Parrish, can we go to Bill Dishram real quick? Mr. Parrish, I hope that's okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Council Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to touch base with you guys and let you know, just a quick reminder, I believe Councilman Saab already touched on it like everybody else has, about cutting your grass. It's very important. Personal responsibility. Our department is working hard, and about the last month, we've issued over 700 notice of violations out of 1,300 total enforcement in the last 30 days. I am working with Roger to change the grass ordinance. I've got some aggressive ideas. I'm sure that all of you men and women will support them. I'm sure Councilman Saab would as well. I wouldn't mind speaking with him maybe tomorrow if he's interested and talking on some of the ideas he has. This is an issue that we've had for years, and this probably should have been changed a while ago. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I think Roger may have been, he was going to say something about that, but he did not. He didn't come up to the mic. So I just wanted to give a few kudos to, it was a nice job by Clerk Senior with respect to the Makowski tribute. That was very stirring, very touching. Nice job by Officer Kelly as well. I was good friends with Jason. His death has touched me personally. And I also want to give a quick shout out to the DPW, Highway Department, Fire Department, PD, and Rick Watland. A couple weeks back, we had a pretty serious issue in the south end. I don't want to get into particulars about it, but all of those departments responded and mitigated a very serious issue. So it was great to see the response there. Thank you to Director Conrad and the Highway Department specifically for their quick response. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to my wife. Her birthday is on the 25th. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Council Chair. May 25th is my wife's birthday. As you probably know by now that Corporal Jason Mikowski lost his life on that day. So that has definitely impacted me and quite a way. So that's all I have for now. Just wanted to chime in there. I raised my hand during the administration portion, but you never made it to Zoom. So thank you very much, Council Chair. That's all I've got for now.
Mr. Dishram, thank you. I think you put your hands up and then you put it back down. And I think that's why
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you, Council Chair. It's not a big deal. I appreciate you.
Yep, no big deal. We're gonna go back to public comments since we missed Mr. Dishram. Mr. Parrish, if you don't mind unmuting him, Madam Clerk, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on. You got 3 minutes.
Dana Parrish, Brindley Park Street, Dearborn Heights. Good evening, everyone on the council, mayor. I want to kind of touch on what Councilman Wentz talked about, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. Talk about, I'm a veteran myself, talk about the number of veterans in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. There were about 694,500 veterans of that war. Global war on terrorism, there were between 2 and 3 million veterans since 2001 to the present. We all think about the veterans that were killed, and obviously they gave the ultimate sacrifice. And the number of wounded, let's not forget about those that had the invisible wounds, those with PTSD and TBI. You know, everyone was very happy and excited when the war officially ended. But all these soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and the women who served, a lot of them came back with these invisible wounds. A lot of them are on our streets. A lot of them have these invisible injuries. Keep them in your mind and in your heart. If you see somebody who needs help, and then maybe they have mental problems, they're not going to tell you they're a veteran. A lot of these kids are the ones from this generation. They gave just as much as the ones from World War II and other wars. This is the longest war in history. Keep them in your heart and keep them in your mind, because those invisible wounds, the mind is the worst thing to lose. Arms and legs are horrible, of course, but if they lose their mind, a lot of them will take their lives. VA is an outstanding resource out there. It's much better than it used to be. I'm using the VA currently myself. It's outstanding. Speaking of all this, I would like to know what Roger was going to say about the veterans meeting. And I would appreciate no one interfering with that information being put out. I don't give a damn if it's the lawyer that puts it out or if who puts it out, but I want the information put out for me and any other veteran or any other resident who wants to hear it. I don't care who puts it out. Put these petty BS things aside and put the information out so I can get it and the other residents can get it. Who's going to put that out for me, please?
Sir, would you like to speak?
Would you let me speak?
I never told you can't speak.
Yes, you did.
I
speak for the administration. Sir, I thank you for your request. We're putting a seminar with the Rotary Club, a question and answer session, the first one for our veterans, so they can ask benefits and have access to attorneys. This will be a free seminar from 6 to 8 on May 29th, 2024. And we're putting together different inputs and different professionals to come in and be available. And we want to open our city hall to our residents for different issues, whether it's Social Security, disability, benefits, but we know our veterans are a priority, and we just want to convey that to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the information. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Next up, we have Rachel.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. So I had a couple comments and some questions, if possible, for Mr. Deeb, if he was still there. I hope that he is going to send that report from Wade Trim to the public safety team as soon as he can, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. But I had asked at the budget meeting, the budget indicates that we are getting both the Safe Streets and the Safe Routes grants, which are two separate grants. And nobody at the budget meeting was able to answer the question about when those were awarded and what the details were specifically. I think about the Safe Routes one, whichever the smaller one was. I had asked for more information and nobody there was able to answer that. So Mr. Deeb was the one I think that needed to answer it. So if he was still there, I'd love to hear about it. And that's all.
Hang on, Rachel. Thank you for all that you do. I'm sure you're probably streaming this right now as we speak. So thank you for what you do, Rachel. I'm going to have Mr. Deeb come forward and answer those two questions.
So for the SS4A, the Safe Street for All, the 397,600, that one, we are meeting with the state. It is approved. I don't have written approval yet, but they tell us that it is budgeted. The second one, I have no approval yet. But so the Safe SS4A, the Safe Street for All, is the money that we intend to use for the improvements that our consultants is recommending. So that's basically, that's the plan. So that will be the design, and the implementation, the construction will be the SS4A money.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Unmute Rachel real quick just to make sure that they answered her question. Her hand is still up. And she technically still has a minute and 30 seconds.
I'm sorry, but that can't be correct, because the Safe Streets for All, the almost 400,000 one, that's the federal grant that is only to design the action plan. That is not allowed to be used for any implementation.
Okay.
The one that was the smaller, the 106 or 16, that would be maybe the state one. Is that the one that's not awarded yet?
That's not awarded. That one is not awarded. SS4A is the only one that we have an award for.
The action plan.
Yep, that's the only money we have. So we also have our own money to use, but once that report is completed, we will have an estimated cost of construction to be in order to do the work. So, but yeah,
So
SS4A is the only one that we have confirmation for.
Okay, so the Safe Routes one, the 100-ish one, that should be removed from the budget since it has not been awarded yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Deeb.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. Next up, we have Barbara. Barbara, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live in. Can you lower Rachel's hand?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Barbara? Please state your
Good.
name, the city you reside in, and the street that you live on.
Barb Rennie, Detroit Street, Dearborn Heights. First of all, I'd like to thank Lynn for the beautiful words about Jason. I worked with him. Awesome man, great cop, wonderful father. The city should be embarrassed that they are not doing anything for him. I think it's a bunch of BS, but the reason why I was on today, I have a question for probably the building department. I would like to know if it is legal to own and operate an Airbnb vacation home in Dearborn Heights. Yes or no?
I don't know if he's still on here, Barb, but if you want, I can get an answer and call you tomorrow.
Well, I have been told by the building department that the answer is no, for I would like the one next door to me shut down.
Okay.
I have different people every weekend. They're putting in furnaces, air conditioning units, only on Friday night. It's a 24-hour job that they do this, not pulling permits. And I'm sick and tired of different neighbors every weekend. It's got to stop.
I'm going to have Councilman Wisconsin who wants to speak on this. Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Council Chair. As of now, it isn't. There was a move to allow cities to pass ordinances against Airbnbs, but if they're renting the house out, they're violating the zoning ordinance. It's a violation of, it's zoned residential and not for a business. They're violating the zoning ordinance. And if they're, a nuisance making a lot of noise, a lot of problems, extra cars parking, that's also a violation of the law.
Well, we have drug deals going on one weekend. You can tell we have cameras. Different people from, no offense, but different countries coming over to asking me, what is there to do in Dearborn Heights? And I said, this is not a vacation spot. How these people were allowed to even get this home, they bought it for over the price value. And boom, I have an Airbnb next door. They also advertised it that me and my husband were nice people and that we have a beautiful backyard with a pool. We are not, playland Dearborn Heights. So who do I call to get this shut down?
Hey, Barb, reach out to me tomorrow. I'll get you an answer.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Complaint to the, both to the police and the ordinance.
Okay.
We'll get it. We'll get it taken care of tomorrow.
Okay, and thank you again.
Given out online.
You want the address?
No, I do not want that online, please.
Oh. It's not hard to find. I'll put it that way.
Barb, just call Barb. Just
Okay.
call or email me tomorrow. I'll get you the answer.
Yes, send me an email also if you would, Barb.
Okay. All right. And thank you again. Thank you again, Lynn, for the beautiful words. You're awesome.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Mr. Kilo.
Okay, hello there. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I live on.
Please don't say the numbers. Don't say the numbers. Just tell me the street, the city resided.
Lafayette, Dearborn Heights, Muhammad Khalil.
Yes.
You know me well, Mr. Baidoun.
Yes.
I called you and I texted you. You didn't reply to me.
Yes.
The alleys are ridiculous now. Now we got people, I don't know, this ace of fades. I don't know. It's ridiculous. They're parking in the alley. I mean, I don't get it. They hit my cars. I'm confused, really. The alley needs to be paved. We can't open our windows. The city engineer, what's his name? Ali Deeb. I reached out to him. He thinks it's the other alley. And then I wrote to him again. Well, I mean, is there any upright person in this city? Come on, man. You told me a couple times to call. You remember?
You did.
I called you and texted you.
I think you
What happened?
called me extremely late, and I didn't respond. And I ended up.
I didn't call you late. I called you extremely early.
Or was it that? I'm sorry.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm sorry. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Well, Mr. Kilo or Muhammad, I think I drove by there. I know exactly what you're talking about the alley where it brings up the dust so you can't open up windows.
Yeah, now there's another dilemma. I'm telling you. It became a parking lot. You want to buy my house? Buy it. Cash me out. Make it a parking lot. I'm serious. It's like to that point. We got a petition with signatures. I mean, I hate to be aggressive, but I was nice.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Hang on one second.
Ridiculous. It's like Uganda here.
Hang on, hang on 1 second. Mr. Deeb, is there anything that we can do with this parking or with this thing? By the way, I just want to say for full disclosure, I did respond a couple of times and then I just didn't end up following back up, but I did respond to Mr. Mohammed.
I mean, I didn't get a reply to your text. I called you. You told me you were at a funeral. You had a funeral that day. I respected it. Then I called you the next day. You didn't answer. I text you. I have the text. The thing is, I mean, like I said, is there any upright person around here?
I
Like,
don't
at
know.
least get back with the
Yeah.
get back with people.
Yeah, I answered your one-time phone call, then we never reconnected, and again, I apologize. But here, we got Mr. Deeb, I don't have an answer.
Always gets back to you.
First of all, I need someone to get this addressed at least, or give us an answer. I
Okay,
have a
well,
petition
that's
with
what we're here for.
signatures.
If you'd let him speak, that's what we're here doing right now, so hang on one
I
second.
have a petition with signatures.
Okay, here, this is what we're doing right now. Mr. Deeb.
Okay, so I do know that area. I did visit that location. So here's the problem with, and this is a citywide issue with alleys. What I understood is I'm trying to find out the open from closed alleys. Open alleys meaning our responsibilities to maintain. Closed alleys they were given to the businesses.
Madam Clerk, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna have to have you pause.
I visited our assessor's office and looked at the maps. So what we have done in the past as a city, we closed alleys going through planning commission or city vacate an alley, right? So what we haven't done supposedly is to actually record that with the county. So the county assessor doesn't know that. So as far as we can tell, these, what we consider closed alley, we took them off our maintenance schedules, are not really closed. So we're trying to come up with a plan showing what alleys we maintain. Because normally I give those to DPW, and DPW will do the maintenance on alleys. Current process, and I spoke with our director on multiple occasions. If the alley is open, not paved, it is ours. If it is paved, it's not. So even if we have, stones in the alley, this particular area is not it's stoned, but it's adjacent to a parking lot. So we have a business on the side, and that's using that alley as a parking, and that's not unique. We have many of those. So, but if you go to the actual assessor's map to see if it is ours or it's open or closed, that's all I really care. In fact, I asked if I can put all of these maps on one citywide map in the crayon, red or green. That's all I really want, so I know which one to maintain, right? And that is not as easy. We have never kept track of these things. There is not one department that actually have kept track of which one is ours to maintain and which one isn't. And I see the clerk is shaking their head because we never really assembled them. Many reasons.
What can we do to help this gentleman right now?
Consider it ours and pave it. That's the shortest. But is it ours? Is it the city's?
Is it?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you would like to, we do have alley vacation, a whole file of it.
Okay.
We just started going through because Director Deeb is right. We have all deeds. We don't know if they're ours. They've just been filed. So we're working with the assessor's office to try to determine, because some of them, even property just says lots. It doesn't even have parcel numbers.
Yeah.
So we've done what we could do, and now the assessor is going to try to determine what parcel number is.
Recording the vacated alley with the county to make them actually vacated is another step. So it hasn't been, and again, I hate to even say it, but we don't have a properties person at all. We have never taken care of city properties. We don't. I mean, it is $1 million question. Which is ours to maintain?
So like, can we get like a time frame if we know if we own this property or not, so we know like what's happening? I mean, guys, tell me he's got a petition.
We have, you probably didn't notice when you were in office, the desk that you got to sit in the hot. I mean, there was like this, and it's just that we can't determine what the address even is. Because it's a lot, maybe.
And I took that information to the assessor, trying to assemble a map. Take a city map and say with a crayon and assemble which one is ours. And it's not easy because some of them are legal description, some are parcels, some are actual location. It's a huge issue. That would have been something that normal, other cities have full departments for.
We pulled them out of the file, though. We're working. We're trying. The assessor's trying.
I'm supposed to be, I'm going to be at DPW tomorrow, so what I come probably for that particular location, find out if we can, maintain it as a city location, because the business is using their parking, but using the alley to access it.
I know, I
mean,
saw what's happening.
that's not unique, by the way. There are
I
many
know.
locations
It's happening
like
Many
that.
locations, and it's
I know.
predominantly on Warren.
And
Council Chair.
there's some on Joy Road on the east side behind CVS. That's even worse. There is a CVS, and then you've got this. Yeah, that's even worse because it actually is tangled up. They're using it for access and.
Okay, let me go to the councilman.
Mr. Khalil, do me a favor, please send me an email regarding it, and I'll make sure Mr. Deeb gets the email, and I'll follow up on it for you.
Okay, well, thanks. Sounds like you guys might need an emergency manager. I don't know. But the thing is the noise also. The cars pulling out, the owners of the business, it's ridiculous, really. Just like the gentleman prior to me was talking about the cars racing down and all that. But think about it. You know what? I should bring you the photos. I took photos. I don't know if you would want to live in something like this or in these conditions. Again, I have a petition, and I'll email you, Mr. Saab, and remind you. But I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going in a circle. So
Just go ahead and send me that email.
what do you want me to write in it?
Just send me where the location and address is in it, and I'll make sure it gets to DPW and engineer. First time,
Okay.
Mr. Khalil. It's the first time I hear of this, and I'm trying to help you out.
Well, but I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to. Okay, whatever.
Just send that email.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? All right.
Council Chair, I'd like to make a public comment.
No.
It's pretty lengthy. No, it's real short. Speak,
Go ahead.
do I have to go up there?
No.
Okay. Tom Wenzel, 2 Lane Street, Dearborn Heights. This past weekend, in addition to all the things that I helped organize, I attended a really great function. It was a Mother's Day brunch put on by any means necessary. President Leslie Winless. She did a fantastic job putting on this event. I was proud to be a sponsor, and I attended it with my whole family. And Heather Sanders was recognized with an award. Margaret King was recognized. We had some fantastic speakers. Lynn was there. Lisa, our treasurer, was there. The mayor was there. We had a mother of Liliana.
Nancy was there as well.
Yeah, Nancy was there. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. And her daughter was killed at St. Albert's School when a cafeteria table kind of folded up in the wall fell on her and crushed her and killed her. And she's been very vocal about the school safety. And she's got a law that's been adopted. It's called Liliana's Law.
Yes.
And I promised her at this event that I told her before, and I failed to follow through 100% on it. And I assured her I would. Now, and if anyone's interested in school safety, and if you could heard her talk, she was amazing. I mean, she knew all of her details, all of her facts. School safety, the buildings in our schools are not what they should be as far as safety goes. And if anyone's interested in their child's safety in their schools, I'm not saying anything bad about any of the school districts. I think they follow by whatever rules they're governed by. But if anyone's interested in the school safety and the safety of their children, please contact me, and I'm getting something together, and we're gonna live up to Liliana's Law and honor her, and not let this go by the wayside. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. She shared that with me as well, and you know what? You're right. We've all dropped the ball on that, really. And she's been to many of our council meetings, correct? Any other comments? Hearing none. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn by Councilman Saab, second by Councilman Breyer. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Have a good night.